Bills out at practice again this morning. Our own Sal Capaccio does report that during the media viewing portion, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and Spencer Brown were not seen practicing while AJ Epinesa was. But we'll see how much of a change, if any, there is from yesterday's injury report when we do get that later this afternoon. We'll also hear from Sal when he joins the show later this afternoon at 5 p.m. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Thursday Night Football tonight, the Cardinals will host Seattle. Kickoff at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime, and you can listen to the game over on our sister station, The Bet 1520. Tonight is also the first instance we'll get of the rivalry jerseys this year. Arizona's going to be wearing theirs, and then for injury notes, Seattle running back Zach Charbonnet, who is questionable for tonight, is expected to play. 49ers general manager John Lynch said on San Francisco radio this morning that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is not close to returning. He's recovering from a torn ACL he suffered last year. And Jets quarterback Justin Fields still in concussion protocol, but did practice today as he continues to go through the protocol. Sabres preseason game number 3 is tonight at Detroit, 6 p.m. pregame, a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is a radio-only game, and you can listen to that right here on WGR. Alexander Georgiev will get the full game in net tonight, and then good news for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He practiced in full earlier today. Stars forward Jamie Benn is going to have surgery to repair a collapsed lung. He is going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks, according to Dallas. And Panthers forward Alexander Barkov picked up an apparent leg injury today at practice. He had to be helped off the ice. We'll likely get more on that tomorrow. And then the AL East battle continues. Yankees, Blue Jays, they are tied for the division lead with 4 games to go. Yankees look to sweep the White Sox at home just after 7, while at the same time, the Jays are looking to avoid getting swept as they will host Boston. And then in the AL Central, Cleveland has overtaken Detroit. Detroit's collapse is complete following Cleveland's win last night. The two teams will play again this evening in Cleveland at 6:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart. Where'd you get that thing?
I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR Sports Radio 550.
You know, all the goal song intrigue, maybe this is what we need.
A cat?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, they're not named after a cat.
Doesn't matter. No rules like that.
I think it does matter.
You can't be prohibited from a Panther sound effect just because your name isn't Panthers. What is the league? Is Gary Bettman going to put a stop to it?
I wouldn't need Gary Bettman to put a stop to it because I would.
You would put a stop to it?
It would offend me. Yeah, it would really, really bother me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've only won the last 2 cups.
It really bothers me that you even brought it up.
They've only won the last 2 cups. Maybe you should try it.
I might be really ready to be bothered today.
I haven't made the playoffs in how long? They've won multiple Stanley Cups in a row.
Why not just change the name to Panthers? You cop the whole uniform.
Look, just dress like
the Buffalo Panthers.
I'm not saying that.
Or even Buffalo Sabres, but just change the uniform.
Buffalo, parentheses, Panthers, Sabres. Like it's their, or other way around, like Sabres is their maiden name.
Right. Hyphen. Give me
hyphen. Panther Sabres.
Buffalo Panther Sabres.
Can we do that? It only works seems to work pretty well for Florida. I don't know.
It sure has. Yeah.
You know, maybe it's like the train horn.
Yeah.
Where everybody gets all scared on the other team when they hear the train horn. Third down. Like they all get, of course, they always make third downs against the Bills. It's the only thing the Bills don't do well. Strangely. But, you know, maybe it's like that, where I'm on the visitor's bench and I hear the Panther thing. I'm like, oh, this game's over. I'm just not even going to go to the net. I'm not even going to dump it in. I'm not even going to throw it deep. I'm just going to get out of here without getting hurt. Just an idea. I'm not going as far as to say rename the team.
I'm just trying to decide whether that would bother me more than them co-opting what I think Carolina and the Bruins still have like a Ric Flair woo after
Carolina,
I think Boston's had that too.
Really? That works great.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, if you use a thing like that, and more like you're not the only team that uses it, the commissioner should get involved there. You should have to go to a meeting and just negotiate a settlement.
They were here first.
This is your thing. You can have it. We'll find someone else to go woo.
Whoever had it first gets to keep it.
Sure. Yeah, right. That's fine.
Then you can file a cease and desist letter to the other team.
Well, it's almost time for those Panther sound effects and the goal songs and all of it. It's good. It's coming.
I know you remember this, but you and I were both semi-fans of the Houston Oilers in the late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Fun characters, good, couldn't get past Pittsburgh. But Monday night games at the Astrodome where they played were awesome, and they had that song.
Mm-hmm.
We're the Houston Oilers, might have been the name of it. And then you wake up one day and learn that the Dolphins had the same song, only the words were changed to Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
That really bothered me too.
Shouldn't the Jets at one of these years just use the shout song with their own words? The Jets make me want to shout. How about that? What are you going to do about it? And then if it's something, well, that's it then. No harm, no foul. All right. Throwing some curveballs at you.
I do like the idea. I did mention this yesterday. Unfortunately, it was right as Paul was coming on, because you know how Paul loves all the window dressing, so to speak, with the hockey. Like he could not be possibly bothered with the fan vote for a new goal song.
No,
doesn't know what the goal songs have been. Doesn't care. He explained himself yesterday. Anyway.
Sorry, I missed it.
I did mention that if you hear anything about vacuum cleaners and Paul, it pertains to yesterday. It was an all-time Paul taking a flamethrower to the show moment. But I do actually have a.
Did he predict a Lamar Jackson injury?
No, we did not get there. I have a stronger opinion than I thought I would about the goal song. I really want it to be the Swords of a Thousand Men thing that Jeremy's been on for 10 years or more, or whatever it is, because I think it's perfect. It doesn't have a place in pop culture that I'm aware of, that everyone knows it from this thing or that thing, unlike, say, Mr. Brightside, which is a song for a certain generation, and the Bills have co-opted it, and I don't know. Anyway,
I've
whatever.
had it. You've had enough with Mr. Brightside.
Good luck. Good luck. It's not going anywhere.
It's over.
It's only just begun. So, but Swords of a Thousand Men.
Now there's a song.
It's got. I don't know how familiar you are with it. It's got a good sort of sing-along part for that the fans could get in on, and it's not known for anything else, really. It could be their song, and it's a swords.
I don't think I know it.
Yeah, I can't sing it for you. I just know I've heard it a couple times briefly and thought that would work. Swords, sabers, the sort of sing-along part, good, all works.
Is it yacht rock? No, I don't know it.
No, it's not. It's not.
I don't know it then. Is it going to be a Kids Bop?
No.
Is it going to be on the Pulse?
I don't know. The name of the band is 10 Pole Tutor, and I don't know if they're like a pub rock, punk rock. I don't know where what their story is. But I just know I think the song fits. I think it'd be a good song. It touches the right basis.
Swords.
For me.
You like that it has the word swords,
and that it doesn't hold a place somewhere else that I'm aware of.
It's not somebody else's.
Right.
As far as we know.
Or something else's.
You turn on Thursday Night Football and the Arizona Cardinals play it. Maybe you stand corrected.
Maybe I've got some trouble. Yeah, right. Anyway.
That's tonight.
I wasn't expecting to get loose on 10 Pole Tutor again.
Again, it happens so often.
Yeah.
Did you figure out yesterday how to hate Kellen Moore? We had one more day. Or is this game so in the bag?
It's so beneath me to worry about.
You don't even care who the Saints coach is.
No, the best I can do is that I confuse him with other guys who had, to me, similar.
The quarterbacks.
Yeah, the quarterbacks. Yeah, Chase Daniel, other people with similar sounding names. I don't have. I didn't make a list. So, no, I don't.
You're not going to bother, are you?
No, I don't think I am.
You're not going to work
No.
on it. You're not going to try to figure out, to muster.
If you had been here
the
yesterday
hatred.
to push me, maybe I would have.
I'm here today.
Yeah, it's
but
too late.
no, it's all right. You're to blame if they lose. I mean, just didn't care enough to fire it up for Kellen Moore.
I don't think they need it.
No, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
they don't need it.
They're good. It should be good.
It's interesting that Ravens Chiefs is on the same day as this game, because I don't know how yesterday went in here, or if you have a different perspective on this, but everybody I know that's into the Bills is only talking about Baltimore, Kansas City. Like it's like that's our game this week.
Yeah.
And it's, if the Bills if they had Tampa, say, this week instead of New Orleans,
Right.
it wouldn't be like that. Like, it would still be about, all right, Baker Mayfield and how to beat them.
I think that makes sense.
They might be a 7-point favorite against Tampa.
Right.
Maybe not even that much. But they're 15.5. It's down where I looked today. It was 16.5. I mean, that's kind of near record stuff. Bet Online yesterday had, will Saints Bills be the biggest line in the league for the entire season? And the heavy money was on yes, that there won't be a bigger favorite all year in the NFL than Buffalo this week. So, Baltimore, Kansas City is what we're talking about. My friends are chatting about it, and they're like, one of them mentioned me, like, what do you think? And I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer. I think it's like this. Your opinion might be different. In my opinion, Kansas City is likelier to fade away this year than the Ravens are. I think the Chiefs could have just a trying season where, are they not asking Xavier Worthy and then eventually Rashee Rice to come in and save them? And like what? Here's Worthy, who dislocated his shoulder immediately this season. Last year, eventually he got there, but he was not Puka. He was not somebody that was just like dynamic in their offense. He became dangerous, but not a consistent problem, not even what Diggs was for the Bills.
And not even what Rice was the year before.
Not even that. So now I got a deep threat timing guy. He hasn't played or practiced, and that's just going to sort of click. It might, but it's sort of a bit of a leap. And then Rice is coming off 6 games, and he missed almost all of last year with a knee injury. What's that timing going to look like? I think starting just like the Bills guy, starting next week he can practice. But still, it's just, I think there's one school of thought here that's assuming those two players will open up the Chiefs offense. And, one or both of them were on the field all year last year, and it didn't happen at all. Like, they just never got good until they played Buffalo. So really, I don't know. It sounds to me like it's too much of a given than what it really probably is. Mm-hmm. And they have Detroit, and they come here. Like, they have the Chargers again. They have other tough games.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So I think there's a chance. How many losses can you afford in the AFC? 7 at the most. Nobody's getting in at 9 and 8. Probably.
Just to be a playoff.
Just to get in.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're at 2, and this would be 3, and at 1 and 3, just more attention on your record and your problems. I think the Chiefs have a better chance of fading away. So if you want to have a scenario where you don't have to deal with both of these guys, Baltimore. Because I don't think Baltimore goes away if they lose. They've had seasons like this. Last year was like this.
Yeah.
Where they started 0-2.
I still think that they're going to be a force. Baltimore. Yeah.
Fine. So, I don't know. Take that and go either way you want with that. I also think, and this is just sort of maybe vanity, but it's an incredible year if the Bills make the Super Bowl and win, no matter how they do it. Wouldn't you want to play the Chiefs if you could? And you could lose to them. I'm just saying, the best case scenario includes Kansas City.
Is beating them on the way. Yes. So that is subtly different than saying I need it to happen. Like, I need to play them, and it's going to be empty without it, because I wouldn't want to put my name on that. But I'd be lying if I don't think anyone honestly could tell you it wouldn't be sweeter to beat them on the way.
It's not like it's not a real championship,
right?
If you don't beat Kansas City,
I don't need to do it. I don't need it to. I'm not going to feel some void if it were to happen. But if I can beat them on the way and sort of slay that dragon, that'd be awesome. It's all the sweeter, I think, if you can do it that way. But that said, if they want to go ahead and have a season where they just sort of spiral, but feel free. I don't need it to be. I don't need them in my hair.
Well, this game is pretty big toward that for them. Like, they're not dead at 1-3, but Philadelphia beat them, Chargers, who are 3-0, all in the division, then Baltimore at home, 2 of these losses at home. It would taste like that a little bit. They wouldn't be dead, but if there's any quit in there because they're exhausted and they all hate each other now, then that's when that comes out. Adversity would bring that out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's already out. I don't know. Maybe it's not even real in the first place. But I think that's the question about the game. I mean, it's not hard to make an argument for either being better or worse for the Bills.
Yeah,
it's sort of obvious.
You can just keep saying things that add to one side or the other. Like I eventually got to, I already have a tiebreaker on Baltimore yesterday. That maybe should be the most important factor, right? So I have a leg up on them. Let them stay a game closer to me than Kansas City because I have a tiebreak on them, whereas I don't have one yet on Kansas City. I certainly hope to have one head-to-head, but who knows what that'll look like when we get there. On the other hand, though, if it's right, and this is where I started when we talked about this on Tuesday, was if Kansas City, like you just said, is more likely, because of their schedule, the division, if they're more likely to have a harder time from here, right, maybe let them get this one, ding Baltimore with another loss, and they're going to get tagged with 2 or 3 more anyhow because of the schedule and the division, and that could be good for me too. Because it gets Baltimore another loss. And if I'm more worried about them right now, which I am, then even though it's a little counterintuitive, or actually it's not. I'm dinging Baltimore. They've got one more loss. Makes it harder for them to catch me with the tiebreak, and they'll probably still win their division even if they lose this game. I think I would still bet on them if they're 1-3. Baltimore, after a loss in Kansas City this week, I still feel like that division is in their pocket.
That's a bet you could make. Because Pittsburgh could get to 3-1, and Cincinnati could get to 3-1, and then you're 2 games back through a month of the season. That's maybe what you'd want to take advantage of.
Haven't played any of them yet.
Right.
There's been no head-to-heads in that.
No, the Ravens have beaten the Browns. That's it in that division.
So, yeah, you can look at it from a lot of different standpoints. It almost feels like, It may end up really mattering which of those 2 teams wins this game, but there's benefits on both sides to me. Like, again, we just talked about it for 10 minutes. Either side is compelling to tag with another loss.
What about a tie?
I don't know. I hate ties.
Don't have room in your brain for that one.
I don't.
You hate ties. No one's happy.
No, I don't want that.
Could happen.
Sure. Sure, good.
Don't rule it out. I know you've been listening to the morning show a lot lately. Did you hear the stat about the teams that have winning records at Highmark Stadium?
I did not.
Joe sent me this. He asked me, how many teams do I think have winning records at Highmark Stadium? And I guessed 6. And he said it's 4. It's actually 5.
Oh, so he was wrong?
Yeah, he was wrong. It's actually 5.
You checked his work?
I confirmed with him that there was one more.
Okay. Gotcha.
So sort of.
Yeah. And the team the Bills are playing on Sunday is one of them, isn't it?
Yes. The Saints are 4-1 all time in Orchard Park. I was at the one. We talked about it the other day, 1983. The ball with Saints written on it that I have.
Right.
That doesn't exactly prove that I was there, but I was there.
I believe you.
I think I sat next to Darryl Talley's father.
Okay.
But can't confirm. I think Talley was a rookie in 83. He got here first before Bruce and Kelly and everybody.
Yeah,
I think 83.
That's soon. Wow, I thought 85 draft for him.
I got to check
in
now.
my head, but
no,
85. Yeah, 85 was Bruce and Andre. Boy,
he's on the team in 83.
Okay,
5 sacks.
Good job
as a rookie.
I didn't know that he was here that soon. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that checks out then. Well, I mean, to some extent, it would make sense if Darryl Talley's dad was there.
He had 4 nicknames.
Oh boy, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I'm out.
Big Chief.
Okay.
The Duke of Awesome.
Wow.
The Hammer.
The Duke of Awesome.
What it says. Pro Football Reference. They're the authority on athlete nicknames.
That is really something.
I don't know. So Saints are one. Mm-hmm. Who else? What other teams have winning records at Highmark Stadium? There's 4 more.
I have no idea. Honestly, I didn't hear this. I haven't thought about it one time, and I could just name some teams, but it would be stupid.
Naming teams, everybody.
I'd
rather name bands.
Is there how many games is it for the Saints? You said 4-1.
4-1.
Okay, so is there someone that's played here 20 times that has a winning record against the Bills?
52 or even more than that.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, so New England probably is on the list because they owned us for that's 2 decades.
That's right.
Right.
New England is 31-21, I believe Joe said.
Yeah.
At the stadium. Also, 2 teams are 5-4. Vikings.
All right.
That last one put them back over 500. The Jefferson game.
Yeah.
5-4. And also the Chargers are 5-4 at the stadium. And there's one more that's played 422 games there.
What?
The Bills. The Bills have a winning record at Highmark Stadium.
Jeez.
258 and 164. Those are the 5.
Sure.
He left off the Bills when he sent me the question.
Okay. So you corrected him to let him know that the Bills.
I didn't correct him. I guess I'm doing that now in a sense. But
you added it.
No, the Bills are also. They also have a winning record there.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
All right. What is the record again?
258 and 164.
All right. So it's not even really that close.
Not close at all.
Yeah.
96 games over 500.
I think you take that.
Yes. It just sort of instinctively felt that there were too many years in there where they weren't good.
Yeah, what's
really.
really wild about that? Yeah, well, it tells you when they're good, they're great. They've had a couple of great eras where their record at home, I mean, they didn't lose a game there last year at all. They're 2-0 so far this year. And the 90s they were dominant, but then like in between there, there's a lot of bad stretches where the team was really bad, but when they're great, they're great. Or when they're good, they're great, is what I mean.
Last home loss in the regular season was Denver. Ken Dorsey was the offensive coordinator. They have not lost a home game in the regular season since firing Ken Dorsey, so he was the problem.
Clearly.
The playoff loss to Kansas City should not be ignored. That was important. I don't have preseason here.
Good.
I know they've lost in the preseason. The Giants won the game this year, right? In the preseason.
That's correct. Yeah.
So there's that. Okay. Sam Panayotovich coming up in about 10 minutes.
Whoa. It's Thursday.
Joe Ostrowski coming up in about 10 minutes. Let me fix that. Actually, that's a terrible mistake.
I agree.
Because it's not Friday.
Right.
Where I would get that wrong. Joe Ostrowski coming up.
Right.
Not the same guy. We'll talk a little bit of Week 4 in the NFL. Tonight's game, Ryder Cup. We'll talk to Brian Koziol at 4. That's today, isn't it? Brian Koziol about the Ryder Cup. He's flying to New York tonight, and he'll be there covering it, which should be amazing. And Sal Capaccio joins us at 5. We'll have the Sabres again tonight. They're in Detroit. Sabres pregame coming up at 6. That's right. Joe's today. Sam's tomorrow.
That's how that works.
Good.
It's on the board.
Good job correcting me on that. It's right there.
Yeah.
I missed a day. Still no excuse. No excuse. Not making any. Joe O coming up after the break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. This is WGR. The video. 1,000 people are watching it at one time. 8 people have clicked the like button. And that's offensive. In that community, no. Just please go out of your way, if you must, and just click on the thumbs up. Do we have the thumbs up? We do. Yeah, all right. Please click the like button.
Yeah.
It helps to grow. I believe it helps to grow the program.
Does it tell
the algorithms like it when you get more likes?
Does it reveal the identity of the person clicking the like?
Not on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to click it then. Is this the Sabres' new goal song? Is this in the running for the goals? No, right? It's not. No, I don't. Paul would vote for it, probably. I voted for Swords of a Thousand Men. I had to, there was an email address and sign up for texts or something, but I wanted to support Jeremy. This is a Jeremy idea from years ago. Paul probably definitely couldn't care less about this subject. I'm sure of it. So I'm going to annoy him by bringing it up, but I voted. So I wanted to support my friend Jeremy. Swords of a Thousand Men. It's got a good sort of back and forth sort of sing-along part. It's swords, the Sabres, swords, get it? It's not a song that really exists in any other mainstream way, really. It'd be easy to just call our own, as opposed to like Mr. Brightside with the Bills, which is a huge popular hit song with people of a certain age. I think Swords really works. So, Paul, your thoughts?
I don't even know what you're talking about, if I'm being quite honest with you. So... Are you about Jeff Skinner's goal song? I said he has a goal song.
Are you at these games, Paul?
When they score a goal, I've got to watch the replay, take notes, tweet the whole thing, write everything down. Goal song? I have no idea, nor do I care. I got other things to do when goals are scored, so I have no idea. But I have a question for you. Do you have a Shark vacuum?
I do not, Paul.
I picked one up last year after Christmas for like a third of the price. It is amazing. I am mesmerized by this thing. I sit there and just watch this thing. Like it starts up on its own and it's got its little map and it goes and I just watch my whole house get vacuumed and I don't do a thing. It's really cool. I like it.
Paul Hamilton mesmerized by a vacuum.
That I don't have to push around or plug in or I press one button on my phone and off it goes and it's got its map and it's going now. You disturbed me. I can't go watch it now. I got to sit here and talk to you.
You can operate a wireless device with a Motorola flip phone? Paul, how? How is this all happening?
Should I be totally honest with you? I had the thing for 4 months, didn't have a clue. Yeah. A girl who was in our wedding came over with her boyfriend for dinner, and she got this thing rolling for me. She's a former high school principal, so of course she knows what she's doing. She actually had fun with it. And I'm sitting there going, I have no idea what you're doing, but thank you.
That's all of this is really, Paul, it's been a while since you took a flamethrower to the show, but I would like to welcome you back to your recurring role as fire maker on the Schopp and the Bulldog show.
Our friend Brad Ryder has a show now online.
Yeah,
he said the same thing. I was on, and I immediately started talking about Budgie, and he goes, "Oh, I missed this."
Yeah,
he goes, I just forgot all about this. He goes, I totally.
Well, Brad should try working here again, and then he wouldn't miss it. He would be sick of it because it happens all the time. It'd be more familiar to him. No, what we do have, we have one of these things that has a dock, and you can do, but it just went around and like got stuck under the couch, and I've never used it again. So I don't know. Maybe you've got a higher tech, better thing than
I will
we've got.
send my friend over, and she will get this thing rolling for you.
Paul, well, there's so many things I could say. I don't want help with a vacuum. I'm all right. We manage. We manage. Anyway, all right. Well, anyway, it's nice to connect with you without the pressure of the pregame show and the clock ticking and everything. Although we have gobbled up 8 minutes talking about vacuums. Pretty good couple of nights, I think, for the Sabres. Mostly, I know, like the game. I watched both games. And I would say the game in Columbus, it took them a little while to maybe, as you would say, get to their game because I thought Columbus had the better of the play at the start of Monday's game. But eventually the Sabres just kind of choked the game off. And, man, last night, did they give up a scoring chance last night?
I would say the same thing last night, too. It didn't take them quite as long, maybe half the first period. But I thought they got off to a slow start. They actually did get outshot in the first period, 12-11, and then Columbus had 7 shots for the rest of the game. They had 2.
Seattle at Arizona. Seahawks a slight favorite on the road. The Bills the biggest favorite on the board this weekend, and maybe will end up being that for the entire NFL season. 15.5 or higher, depending on where you do your shopping. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, joined now on the Wester Hotline by Bet Sweats co-host Joe Ostrowski, Odyssey Insider Calls, BetMGM Network, Joe and Sam Panayotovich co-host Bet Sweats, which is excellent. Weekday mornings, 9 to noon. You can hear it on the Bet 1520. Joe, I mean, to say the least, there's a lot going on right now with all the college football, too. It looks like a great weekend there, plus Ryder Cup. And, I mean, hockey starting. I'm not sure we can bet on the preseason.
Gage Thompson hat trick bet season is upon us almost.
Here we go, Joe.
I can take a shot of whiskey if you'd prefer me to be Sam today.
I'm sorry. I had it wrong in my head all day, and I don't really know why. I'm sorry.
Well, you get into a rhythm with the football season, and if you miss a day, I totally understand it.
All right.
No worries at all. Yeah, a ton that is that's been going on right now. I mean, yeah, you throw golf into the mix, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I watch that. But I'm just here so Bulldog can give me a long shot touchdown again on a Thursday. That's the entire reason I'm here.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not. I'm not as intimately familiar with these teams that are playing tonight as I am with the Bills. So I don't have like some third string tight end for you.
What's AJ Barner, Joe?
AJ Barner. Okay, give me a second.
Like he's their number one, and nobody knows who he is. So Seattle. Actually, while you're looking at that, I kind of love Harrison tonight.
It's 5-1, by the way.
All right.
Really? Why? So he's not going to drop passes now?
Well, I loved Andrews on Monday night because I thought maybe the incentive would be, let's see if we can rediscover Mark Andrews.
Right.
I had a bet on him to catch a pass on their first drive. He caught the first pass of the game. 2 touchdowns. I wish I had that. I feel like that might be where they are with Harrison. I mean, the vibes are always weird with them, I think. Yep. And that drop, dropped one in the end zone, too, that was tougher. But the one was wide open, like the center fielder, and just let it go right through his hands was egregious. And I don't know. They have a lot invested in him. The team's pretty good. I could see him being like first ball of the night and, maybe a more focus on Harrison than usual.
Barner is 5-1 for an anytime touchdown tonight. And we do this kind of a bit on the show, but it's the room. We find out what are the most popular bets, and they're so bad, just at everything. And we were shocked, just shocked that the most popular player prop on tonight's game is Torrey Horton over 22.5 receiving yards. So we'll be going against that one for sure. I mean, that's just one. The public is really, they're going to find Horton. Okay, he's the guy because of what he did most recently. Now he's going to go over the number. So we'll be going against that one for sure. I like the Seahawks in the game. I think the Arizona Cardinals are quite fraudulent, but they did cover the number last week against San Francisco. Arizona's been outgained in all 3 games, including those first 2, New Orleans and Carolina. For what it's worth, Seahawks beat them 7 times in a row. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I'm a little surprised and almost there where I'm willing to admit that maybe I was wrong on Seattle because they're already outperforming my expectations.
I'm with you. I thought Darnold was going to be a disaster there. I didn't think they'd be able to block well enough for him and that he would just cave in and it would fall apart. And it certainly is not doing that.
Yeah, I'm at the point right now where I'm starting to think, okay, I get it because of the record. San Francisco's the favorite in the division. If it's not the Rams, it could be Seattle, and they're 7-1 right now. If they move to 3-1 tonight, I think they're going to be a very, very trendy pick. People will start to take a look at them. They should be fine. We'll find out a lot today. It's been pretty impressive. And the start of the season, they lose by 4 at San Francisco. That was kind of impressive too. Maybe people just wrote off McDonald after that 1 year, and it took a little bit of time. But that defense is pretty strong.
AJ Barner. Some are calling him AJB. 5-1 to score tonight. Move over AJ Brown.
All right.
I've got one of those not ladder bets, just exact order of finish. Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona L.A. I might have a Rams problem, but
L.A. last.
L.A. last.
Was the Stafford thing the
maybe actually maybe this is back in months ago. So
yeah,
maybe.
that would make sense.
They have an interesting game, I think, from a betting perspective this weekend too. Rams hosting the Colts. Mm-hmm. I heard you guys talking about this game earlier. So now is the time, you think, where everybody's sort of woke to Indianapolis, and therefore they're a popular public bet?
Maybe a bit too much. Yeah, they are. Of all the popular plays, the only one that's an underdog is the Colts. That does not surprise me one bit. I don't know. It's probably more Colts, but I'm sure it didn't help. A lot of people thinking, oh, boy, how are the Rams going to get off the mat after the way that they lost that game? It definitely hurt bettors at the very least with that touchdown at the end. You know, I was curious about Colts last week, doing it on the road for the first time. But you're facing one of the worst teams in football at Tennessee. They come out and they look as strong as they did at home. Jonathan Taylor with 3 touchdowns. But, yeah, we were curious, what if they have to play from behind? We haven't seen that. I think there are a lot of check marks that people are kind of waiting, at least I am, for the Colts to check off. But I think many are saying, hey, maybe we're all just wrong on this team. They're a true contender, and they're looking that way so far. But they haven't had a challenge like going on the road out to the West Coast. Not that that's a huge home field, but just facing a team and a defense like the Rams have right now. So that line went from 4.5 down to 3.5, has not budged there. It's going to be, we had a bookmaker on the show today. This is going to be one of those situations. The public's on one side, and the pros, sharps, whatever you want to call them, are going to be on the Rams.
I always like it when the Colts play the Rams because it's fun to think about that these teams were traded for each other once. The franchises were traded for each other. Do you know that, Bulldog?
That sounds familiar, but I don't have the story.
Irsay basically bought the Rams. The Rams were for sale. This is 73, maybe. 71. I don't know. Irsay buys the Rams stock, becomes the controlling owner, and then trades them for the Colts. So Rosenblum takes over the Rams.
Okay.
And Irsay takes over the Colts. Rosenblum wanted to move the Colts.
So Rosenblum owned the Colts when they played the Jets.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
And then we don't have a lot of this, Joe, in sports where two teams are just the owners trade teams. Pretty good.
Didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Don't think it affects the line.
I know the last week, certainly last week after we were going into week 3, after 2 weeks of NFL games, there was a lot of talk about with both you and Sam about how there's just been no upsets. Did that hold through week 3? I didn't really keep track.
Oh no! It finally happened. Yes, I was thinking that would be the case, but yeah, we did get a couple of games with pretty big upsets. It just got to a point. The Falcons.
Right,
ended up being an upset. It's kind of ridiculous that they were favored by 5.5, but that's what it happened. And if you look at that box score, it's not like Carolina outplayed them by that much. It's just the game got away from them early. So remember, the Falcons were coming off that impressive Sunday night performance against the Vikings, so people were in on that. That was a big one. And the monster one, of course, the Browns beating the Packers.
Of course, right.
Yeah, that was the big one. And I guess you could include Monday night.
Yeah.
It was about 4.5. I mean, that was bigger than any upset we got in the first couple weeks. So, yeah, see, that felt more normal to me, what we saw in week 3 with a handful of upsets. That's the NFL that we know and love, as opposed to just all the favorites winning again and again.
Talking to you, that Browns result should have been top of mind. Not to confuse you and Sam again, but Sam called that one on Friday with us. He liked that a lot. Yeah.
Well, if the Bills lose Sunday, it might end up being the biggest upset of the year in the NFL. I mean, 15.5 or higher. What do you do with that, Joe? Is there a number? I mean, it just seems so gross. Homerism, excluded, if I might, to think that New Orleans would win here. I mean, upsets happen, though, to the last point. Is this one imaginable?
And in its Rattler's 10th career start, it would be his first win. So
well,
he's
what a way to do it.
Yeah, coming into this game. A couple days ago, this number got to 17. So there are bettors that are just going to be like, come on, this is the NFL, 17 points. They're going to take the dog every time. I don't think there's too much rhyme or reason behind it. Maybe not waiting on the health of the Bills, or does it even matter? Probably not. But, yeah, when Josh Allen is favored by more than a possession, 27-2, straight up. Now, as far as bringing the point spread into the game, 10 or higher, not great. 6-10-2 against the spread. But, yeah, it's tough. I think this game is actually interesting on one sort of betting angle. I'm not doing anything with the game because, yeah, I hate point spreads that are north of 2 touchdowns. Sure, there could be a backdoor cover when a bunch of the backups are on the field, I guess. I won't be doing anything with it, but I think it's really fascinating from a survivor perspective, because a lot of people think this might be the most popular pick ever that we've seen. Like in the Circa Survivor contest, the owner of Circa Sports was saying, I think this is going to be the most popular pick ever. I don't think it's going to be that popular, but I understand. People kind of view it as a free space. Game theory point of view, I don't plan on taking the Bills.
Right.
I'll go elsewhere. There are 5 games of a touchdown or higher spread, so I'll go with one of those. We've seen mostly favorites get through anyways, and then if I don't take the Bills, by the end of this week, probably the majority of people I'm going against have already used Buffalo, and there are a bunch of other opportunities I can use them.
You know, Detroit is the second highest spread, and as good as they looked Monday and as good as they were last year, there hasn't been an obvious spot to use them yet. Maybe week 2, people used Detroit when they played the Bears. And I mean, the division could again be so strong that they go to Kansas City still. Like maybe Detroit is usable this week. We have a listener who sent me a great stat on point spreads. And I think you would enjoy this. I'm not sure how, like, if it's actionable, but I think you would enjoy this. He looked up, Joe, that since the beginning of the 2022 season, so 3 years and change, including playoffs, Minnesota has only had one game where the spread was 7.5 or higher. Basically, in almost every game Minnesota has played in 3+ years, the spread is close. Like they're kind of like down the middle. This week it's 2.5, right, or so at in Dublin against the Steelers.
Yes.
One game out of 50+ where their spread, one way or the other, was greater than 7. The Bills have had 24.
Wow.
In the same amount of time.
Sure.
Like almost half their games.
Yeah.
And, have they been an underdog in any of them? No. Since 22? They've never been an 8-point underdog since 22, I think. So unless it's like a Week 18 game or something. But 24 times, 7.5 or higher, Minnesota once. Love it.
What I think is really interesting about that is it just happens to be a team that, for my money, I think most football fans would agree to an extent, they might have the best combo offensive mind, defensive mind of any coaching staff. Or they're one of the top, 3 to 5 at the very least. And those little edges seem to work. If you look up, as far as NFL head coaches, 1-score record, O'Connell has one of the best in the NFL. He might be best right now, but he's up there. Even though everybody was talking about the Chiefs, that stretch finally ended. And then they had a couple of 1-score losses in a row to start the season, which I thought was really interesting because that typically does balance out. But with certain coaches, not so much, even though they are the exception to the rule. And so far, KOC has been the exception to that rule.
Are you a Ryder Cup guy?
I'll pay attention during football season, especially with the games that we have Saturday too as well. And I mean, these games Sunday are pretty strong. Not as much, but I hate to say it, I am taking a look and I'm thinking Team Europe.
Oh, I have it.
They're the underdog, and I like their group much better. At plus 150, we all know the trend, and it's obvious about the home course. And that's been strong over the last number of years. But, I think Team Europe at plus 150 is a pretty good bet.
Sam called your show today the most un-American show he's ever worked on. I don't know if that's the whiskey talking, but it seems like everybody over there is on Europe, and, so am I.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Enjoy the weekend. Should be great.
All right, you guys too.
Thank you. Joe Ostrowski, the host of Bet Sweats with Sam Panayotovich, weekday mornings 9 to noon. You can also hear Joe on Sunday mornings, also on the Bet 1520, leading up until the 1 p.m. kickoffs. 803-0550 for your calls. We have Brian Koziol coming up to talk about the Ryder Cup, which gets underway tomorrow morning at 7 at Bethpage, Long Island. The pairings for tomorrow morning's foursomes matches are announced at 4. So they might drag that out, but we might get them while we're talking to Brian. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR. Brian Koziol coming up with the Ryder Cup starting tomorrow down on Long Island. He'll be on with us in a little over 10 minutes to set up this great event. Sal joins us later. I love the Ryder Cup. I'm not so much, I guess it just sort of comes with, it's part of it. You know, like watching golfers high five and hug all the time is just weird because they're not naturals. You don't really normally see that.
Yeah.
So the camaraderie that people say is so vital and important to Europe's success over the last 3 decades, the U.S. team tends to look really awkward in that way, even though they're all from the same country. But I just love the format and the golf.
Right. Same here. I don't. The energy and all that, like the raucous galleries. I don't. I hate when I'm watching the Valero Open and there's some wahoo behind the tee box yelling, "Get in the hole!" That makes me nuts when I'm watching on TV and it's a tournament I barely even care about, probably only because I bet on someone. This is just going to be, I think, insane.
Yeah, to be good on mute.
I said yesterday I probably will watch this a lot with the sound off because
there it is.
Will make me nuts.
But the nerves,
the tension, sure,
the
like
best.
that, yes, and the crowd roaring is a part of that. I know. It's just I just think it's going to be a pretty raw, not pretty raw. It's going to be as raucous as any golf event I think maybe you've ever watched. Is what I would expect with the venue and just everything. So I don't love that. I mean, I don't need that energy myself.
That's just
to enjoy the golf. But
it's the only event like it.
That's right.
In that way. So should be an amazing weekend for that. I like it more when it's in Europe because that fits my schedule. I mean, I don't need it 1 a.m. tomorrow. I mean, seven's great. I'll get to watch most of the morning tomorrow. But Sunday, plus there's an NFL game in Europe in the morning.
Right.
Ironically.
I really have a hard time on the weekends with this event every other year. I just do. I mean, football is, especially the Bills are playing at 1 o'clock. I mean, we're working post game after. I'm not going to be dipping into the golf probably.
If the Bills get way out in front of the Saints like Seattle did, like 30-plus point lead midway through the second quarter, you might end up turning on the post game show Sunday and hearing us say, "We've been watching the golf." Actually,
right.
Once it became 30-0, we just put the golf on. So you tell us what happened. I don't know. How did Trubisky look? Brian Koziol next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Hey, it's Bulldog here. How about a shot at
No changes from yesterday for the Bills injury report. Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, and Spencer Brown do not practice, while AJ Epinesa was limited. We'll get more on the Bills when Sal Capaccio joins the show in just about an hour at 5 p.m. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured? For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. Thursday Night Football tonight, Cardinals host Seattle. Kickoff at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime. And you can listen to the game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Tonight is also going to be the first instance we see of the rivalry jerseys. Arizona's going to be wearing theirs. And then for the Seahawks, running back Zach Charbonnet, who is questionable, is expected to play. 49ers general manager John Lynch said today on San Francisco radio that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is not close to returning. He is recovering from a torn ACL he suffered last year. And Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez reportedly is expected to make his season debut this Sunday versus Carolina. Sabres preseason game number 3 is tonight at Detroit, 6 p.m. pregame, a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is radio only, so it'll be right here on WGR. Alexander Georgiev is expected to go the full game tonight in net. And then some good news staying with the goaltenders. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen practiced in full earlier today. Stars forward Jamie Benn is going to have surgery to repair a collapsed lung. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. And Panthers forward Alexander Barkov picked up an apparent leg injury today at practice. He had to be helped off the ice. We expect to get more information on that tomorrow. The AL East battle continues over in baseball. Yankees Blue Jays are tied in the division lead with 4 games to go. Yankees are looking to sweep the White Sox at home just after 7. While at the same time, the Jays look to avoid getting swept as they will host Boston. And the Ryder Cup, it is going to get underway down in Long Island at Bethpage Black tomorrow. We're going to get more as Brian Koziel will join the show next. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Happy, the ball itself has its own energy, or life force, if you will. Its natural environment is in the home. So why don't you send them home?
It's Mike Schopp
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
and the Bulldog.
That Happy Gilmore, he's a real crack-up, isn't he? I mean, he's a hoot. You know, what was great today, one of his fans mooned me, and it had Happy written on his ass. Ha on the one cheek, and then, sure enough, PPY right there in the other.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog
Happy learned how to putt. Uh-oh.
on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Just for this weekend, it's Captain Bulldog with the Ryder Cup in mind. Captain Bulldog. You will never hear the announcers refer to Keegan Bradley as Keegan Bradley this weekend. It's got to be Captain Bradley, or else they'll be fired. Like when Gary McCord talked about how the Masters greens were bikini waxed.
Now I want to turn the sound on this Golf Channel panel that we're watching, just to hear if they all refer, because he's I believe that is that's Keegan Bradley sitting right there, right?
Yes.
And
so
is that Luke Donald, the European captain? Okay.
Yes.
Captain Donald.
Captain Donald. Captain Brian Koziel with us on the Westher Hotline. Brian is off to the Ryder Cup tonight. I'm guessing this isn't your first one, but it might be.
This is the first Ryder Cup that I will have attended.
Is?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. How cool.
I've gotten to 3 of the 4 major championships. In fact, lots of U.S. Opens and PGAs, but never a British Open, I guess, which makes, travel sense-wise. But no, this will be my first Ryder Cup in person, so I'm excited and curious to see what spectating this event will look like.
Right. But you were at the U.S. Open when it was at Bethpage, right?
Yes, both of them. 02 Tiger, okay. 09 Glover, and I would say a long course to walk. I mean, I'm sure maybe people that are listening have played it, so they know what it's like. It's a course that is known for being tough. They have that famous sign on the first tee that says only skilled golfers only for the black course. But yes, I have not been there for a Ryder Cup. From what I've been told from people that have gone there, is that spectating, while they said it's as good of an atmosphere as maybe you'd have at a sporting event, it's also can be challenging to spectate because, think about a crowd that was at Oak Hill for a major. It's about the same crowd. They're expecting maybe about 30,000 or so there. But at Oak Hill, there's 2 sets of groups on every hole spread out over 18 holes, and you've got spectators all over 18 holes. Whereas here, there's only 4 groups. So there's only golf on 4 holes. Now, I'm sure that it's going to be 20 and 30 deep, if you really want to spectate, unless you strategically get ahead, but then you're waiting a while and not watching any golf. So that part of it, I guess, I'm just, trying to figure out, what's going to be the best tactic to see the most golf swings at the end of the day.
How much, if at all, do you know, have they done things to this course for this event since you were last there, or is it pretty much just it's already that hard and we don't really have to trick it up?
Yeah, so from what I've been reading from a lot of people that are there already is that the rough is down from what it was when the majors had played here. The PGA had been here also. That was a Koepka win. I want to say late 2010s. Can't remember the year off my head. But the rough is down. I'm sorry, but down. I mean, it's not as thick, I should say. Right. So that they're also saying that right off the fairway too, that it's not that penalizing. That usually the most penalizing is around the green. So I'm guessing that was on purpose, Chris, that the U.S. team tends to be a team that maybe wants to be a little bit more aggressive off the tee. They've got big bombers like DeChambeau and thinking hey, if we're going to give our guys a chance to maybe, flourish at what they do best, we want them to hit driver as much as possible. So I think that might be a strategy that they're utilizing. Hey, why do we want to tighten the fairways and make this thick and play like a U.S. Open when we want DeChambeau to hit driver on every hole? We want Scheffler to go after on every hole. So I think that's probably what is in line. The home team essentially has a say in course setup and what tees they're gonna, in terms of the tee box placement and the pin placements and all that sort of stuff, to try to strategically help their squad. So I know traditionally we've seen that when Europe hosts it, they like to tighten the fairways, turn it into more of a discipline sort of thing because Europe thinks that they can play that game better than the U.S. team.
It's nice that that's so out in the open, that we all know this, that the home country or the home team can, again, trick up the course in some way. I think this happens in other sports, like in baseball. Sometimes they grow the infield grass in or something, but it's sort of you're not supposed to know it. They wouldn't admit it. If the Yankees were playing a team that they just wanted to bunt all weekend or something, and they just let's just not cut the grass.
Right.
But they would never admit it. Here, though, this is what we're going for. I was wondering, so here it is a few minutes after 4, and they had been announcing that the pairings for tomorrow morning would be announced here on the Golf Channel that we're watching at 4, and I'm figuring it's going to be this long, drawn-out ceremony or something. No, the 2 captains are just sitting at the table, and they both read them off, Brian.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean,
the one thing I know that I think is interesting about the Ryder Cup, and I don't know if I like it or I don't like it, is that it's blind. Bradley does it, at least that's what it's been in the past, where they just say, these are my 4 groups in this order. They don't necessarily know what each other is doing at that point. So, that's a piece of it, too, that it's blind. You really don't know what the other team is sending out first. I kind of wish maybe, would it be better if they could go back and forth and say, Group 1, one of the players is Scotty Scheffler, and then Europe can kind of huddle, all right, we want to put out Rahm against him, or should we save him for Group 2? I don't know. But ultimately, yeah, you're right. They just throw out their lineup, and that's what it is.
One mulligan. You can give them each one mulligan with their lineup.
I learned that today for the first time, reading a story about how DeChambeau and McIlroy were both talking about how it would be, cool, fun, whatever, if they squared off, and within that story, it was said what you guys just mentioned, that they just you put your lineup in and you don't know, there's no matching that happens, and I never knew that until today.
I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure. I would guess there are times when there's sort of wink, wink, maybe for a singles match or something, where everybody wants a certain matchup for some reason, and they just agree to do it, even though it's not official. But yeah, I mean, most of the time it's like this. Well, McIlroy will not get DeChambeau tomorrow morning. I don't know about the afternoon. But DeChambeau and Justin Thomas are first off for the U.S. against Rahm and Hatton. So that's the first game. And foursomes means alternate shot, right? There's foursomes and then 4-ball in the afternoon.
That's correct. The foursomes is alternate shot, and then 4-ball. That means 4 balls are in play, and whichever of the 2 U.S. players has the better score on the hole, that was what counts, and obviously for Europe the same way would follow. So I don't know why they don't just say alternate shot and best ball, but they try to make it a little more fancier, I guess. But yes, foursomes means alternate shot, and then in the afternoon, 4-ball means the better score counts, the best ball score counts for the afternoon. And normally, again, it seems as though the team that maybe has the more aggressive players would be thriving in that best ball. Like, I would think DeChambeau would be great in that format. You have a guy that's steady, that, like, I know he's been trying to drive the first hole. For those that are familiar with Bethpage Black, the first hole, it's a hard dogleg right. And there's trees essentially blocking the dogleg. Well, he's trying to go over the entire thing, which sounds like a DeChambeau sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, if you're partnered with somebody that you know is going to be accurate, you're going to have them tee off first. Oh, look, you're right in the fairway. Great. Now I'm going to try to go over the trees and see if I can get all the way up by the green. So I tend to love that afternoon session a little bit more because you tend to get more aggressiveness and creativity and maybe more birdie action that can swing holes in terms of the overall score of the match.
Well, I guess it'll be interesting to see how they start then tomorrow. I saw odds on who would hit the first ball for the U.S., and it was a tweet about DeChambeau and how maybe somebody knew it would be him, and the odds plummeted, like they were really high at one point. And so maybe people know that it's going to be him. He is in the first group. And so I guess to your point, Brian, they'll have to decide whether they want him to go for it on one. And if he misses, he leaves Justin Thomas in the trees or something to start the tournament. Yikes. Or, they just sort of put one out there.
Yeah, I wonder. And also, too, there's definitely been, research and them looking at the numbers of, okay, at the par threes, like, who do we want teeing off on the par threes? Because essentially with alternate shot, it's not necessarily who finishes the hole that starts the next one. It's Thomas will either hit on the evens of the odds to tee off, and then DeChambeau will do the other evens of the odds. So it doesn't matter who finishes the hole, especially because they give putts in match play. So they're doing some strategy of who do we want to hit on the threes, maybe who do we want to hit on the par fives, and then figure out, okay, these two together end up having a good matchup, or, maybe, hey, there's a really, really difficult approach shot on this hole. Is somebody better with their longer irons or something like that? So I'm sure all the numbers they've crunched and they've tried to figure out maybe who plays better with who in terms of that setup. So, yeah, I'm seeing Thomas and DeChambeau. I mean, it's two fiery names for the U.S. to go out right away with, and they're facing Rahm and Hatton. That's also a pretty fiery group for Europe. So early fireworks on hole one to start tomorrow morning bright and early. I love it.
I'd shoot 5 under with DeChambeau in 4-ball, I think. We would shoot 5 under.
Who's
you
we?
And
Me and DeChambeau.
You and DeChambeau?
Yeah. I mean, he would almost never need one of my shots.
I think that's probably right.
But, we'd probably go pretty low, I think. Yeah. Who is... Sorry?
Is this at Beaver Island or
anywhere? Anywhere.
Let's get him over to Delaware Park. I'll take a run at him.
I'd let him tee off on 1.
See if we can get over those trees on 2.
That'd be fine with me. Oh, 2. I mean, how do you not lose a ball? Brian, who are a player or two that maybe this is the most important weekend for? What kind of, with Tiger over the years, and this is a long time ago now, but we would always have the same conversations about him before Ryder Cup. Like, is he really into it? And then he would often he wouldn't have his A game often at Ryder Cup. Are there players like that here? I feel like Europe is so solid and they've won so often. I read their roster and it's guys who I just think of as having great records at the Ryder Cup. I could be wrong though. I might just be sort of assuming that. And the home team has won the last 5. So the U.S. has, won their last 2 played in the United States. Who are a couple players maybe this is the biggest for?
I think the U.S., I'm looking at what we would consider after Scheffler, the next set of big names that have not had good years. Schauffele, to me, if on paper, if you just said pure talent, I might pick him next. He had an injury to start the year, and then very, very disappointing after coming off of winning 2 majors last year. Like, I really thought, okay, Schauffele is now going to be like in that next tier after the, Schefflers and the McIlroys of the world. But he really kind of had a quiet year. Colin Morikawa, who's also a multi-major winner, can he come through for them? And I think, there was an argument to be made that Morikawa shouldn't have even been on the team. Ultimately, obviously, Keegan Bradley valued his experience and him playing in pressure spots early in his career that he decided to get picked. So those 2 players for me, on paper, because they have played in Ryder Cups before, like, can they come through here? Or do we kind of just get what we've seen before, which it sometimes is just kind of disappointing U.S. efforts from these players in these moments. Yeah, Tiger's record in Ryder Cups, not even close to what he's done individually. His singles record is decent, which, I guess you'd say kind of fits his mentality, right?
Yep.
Like Tiger was always about beating the guy across from him when he had to really work together. A lot of times for his career, we always thought he was so, like, he didn't want to share secrets like he does now.
Mm-hmm.
Like he talks with younger players. He was like, why am I going to share? He's like, I'm trying to beat him every week. So that team mentality, embracing it, like when it was Woods and it was Mickelson, a lot of times you always kind of questioned, like, how on board are the U.S. with truly maybe, being insightful with each other to have the best performance possible. And you're right. How much did they truly care? I mean, Tiger changed the way we watch majors now in golf because he made it all about those majors, and he raised those tournaments and those levels to the point where now, like those four have become marquee events on the sports calendar because of it. How much do they truly care about the Ryder Cup? We know the European players, at least publicly, say all the right things about legacy and that this is just as important. Some of them say it's even more important than winning a major if they can have a storied Ryder Cup career. So a little bit different spin on that. I know Luke Donald, even yesterday during the opening ceremony, took kind of a shot at the U.S. because if you remember last year, it was Patrick Cantlay and a little Alexander Schauffele talking about these players getting paid. And Donald's whole speech was about legacy and, honoring the past and, hoping that we're motivating the future, and it's something that money can't buy, and kind of just a little dig at guys like Cantlay and Schauffele that, again, how are they going to perform this week? Maybe I'd throw Cantlay in that mix too. This is an important week for him because he was right at the front about getting paid. He was even the guy that took criticism for not wearing a hat. He didn't,
Yes.
Everybody said, he's not a team player. He's not wearing a hat. Well, he said, it didn't fit right. Like, I don't know. A lot of drama over that. But maybe I'll throw Cantlay in that mix to answer your question.
Even Scheffler, this is a while ago, and I don't think it pertained to the Ryder Cup, but I remember him saying once about legacy, like all the winning he's doing is like, in 100 years, nobody will care about any of this or remember any of us. So,
right.
Big deal.
He said that during the season, maybe after winning a major. Like he's just like, this isn't the most important thing in the world.
Not why I'm here.
Right. Brian, what did you make?
Way,
go ahead.
Real quick, and Europe has gone the other way. They have totally embraced the Ryder Cup experience, and Luke Donald this week have talked about in their locker room, in all their imaging, and all their stuff that they have. It's the 4 years that Europe has won on road, a road Ryder Cup. They keep talking about that. Even this week, Europe's uniforms, for whatever it's worth, he said that they are drawing the 4 major colors that they used in the uniforms from when they won on the road. They are using that in their color scheme this week when they play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to try to inspire these guys to win on road soil. As you mentioned, the last 5 times, it's been tough to do it.
That's trying pretty hard. I mean, it sounds clashy too, by the way. But you're going to look at the 4 random colors, like, those are the 4 jackets we wore in 1995.
I don't know anything about the 4 colors, but the plum colored quarter zip that Donald is wearing on TV right now, I'm going to tell you, I like the color of that.
You're a plum guy?
I don't think I've ever thought of myself as a plum guy. I'm just saying I like the look of that.
All right.
I don't know if it would look good on me.
Well, don't they have to sort of rule out red and blue immediately? Or they have the light blue, Europe, like the European flag. But
I mean, the European flag's got the royal blue and the stars, but they seem to have a little bit more liberty to flex the color wheel. You're right. The U.S.
We can't
pretty
wear
much,
green.
Right.
Although to be honest, like they've definitely embraced that, and obviously it's for marketing and merchandise and selling. But probably one of the most memorable moments in Ryder Cup history in our lifetime, guys, was that Justin Leonard. What was that? 99, right?
Brookline,
He's running all over the 17th green.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're wearing probably the most hideous uniforms ever, and there's no red, white, and blue in those. They were like, purple and olive green and black, and it was a weird setup that week with uniforms for sure.
Might be time to go back to it.
Everything is red, white, and blue for the U.S.
Right. I wanted to ask you if you had a reaction, assuming you heard or read Brandel Chambly's comments about Bryson DeChambeau heading into this. I mean, we work in radio to a large extent. I can appreciate a hot take, but it has to be somewhat accurate to really make the cut. What did you feel about the things that Chambly said about Captain's nightmare? He's only here promoting his YouTube channel, those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chambly definitely is a hot take person for sure. He is definitely, from the get-go, anything that has to do with Liv, he has been negative from day one all the way through. So I think while others have maybe softened their stance, I guess I will give him credit in the sense that he right away was anti-Liv, and all the way to the end, if it's anything to do with Liv, he's anti that. So I guess I can say he's consistent in that message. He definitely thinks that, these guys are all about making the almighty dollar and promoting themselves, not for the good of the game, and he probably feels like DeChambeau with his YouTube channel and doing all that sort of stuff kind of is in that lane. This is obviously all about team events, and I think, if you watch Golf Channel's coverage all week, I think they do an amazing job with covering this event, but it's a lot of over-analysis about team and together and all that sort of stuff, and for whatever reason they feel like that Bryson doesn't fit that mold well. I'm sure if you ask U.S. players, maybe some of them would be, if you got him off the record, maybe lukewarm on what Bryson brings, but there's some of them I feel like he's just one of the rest of them too. So I guess with Chambly, I'm sure part of it is he's looking to get a reaction. And for Bryson, I know he commented on it and said, did Brandel say anything or did he say something or something like that? So he's looking to deflect that too. But for Chambly, I guess it's on brand. He's been anti-Liv, and any player that's took the money from Liv right away, and he's sticking hard with that shtick the whole way through.
Brian, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to watch this thing and look for you.
Good luck. There's going to be a lot of people there.
What? Hey, before you go today, I hope we get a chance to visit with you tomorrow. Well, if you can fit it in. What's the weather? I mean, it looks like it's been pretty wet and windy today, but of course they're not playing until tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they moved the opening ceremonies where they normally, the two players, it's more of the pomp and circumstance sort of thing. They introduce everybody, they have music, and they moved that from what is normally the day before the Ryder Cup. They did it yesterday. Some of the players actually said they liked it better because they thought today they could focus a little bit more on prepping for the golf tournament and getting themselves ready to go. And maybe it's less longer of a day for them with all the commitments that go with it. I think in terms of the weather, today is the worst day. It looks like, I've been checking Farmingdale, New York's weather all week. It looks like it's just going to be cloudy tomorrow morning. And then Saturday, Sunday at this moment, Saturday looks to be like partly sunny. And then Sunday it said like a slight chance of showers. But I don't know if that's an all-day sort of thing. I think they're hoping that maybe the worst weather of the week was today.
Thank you again, Brian. Enjoy the trip.
Thank you. And by the way, I dropped the ball because I thought of this like 10 minutes before we came on the air. I know normally we have our pick 10 for the majors. We should have taken the 24 players and drafted 8 each and see who gets the most points. And I apologize for even saying this on the air right now, but we dropped the ball. We should have done that. But
yes.
I don't know. Is it too late to do it off air? I don't know. But we should have incorporated that going forward for Ryder Cups. But
tonight. If we did it on like a DM thread or something, I could do it. I'd be in.
We could. 8 picks each.
I hate to pull Bulldog away from Tulsa King.
That's right.
But this is my town now.
If we can do it, I'm definitely game for it.
This is my town.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. I'll be in if you guys are in.
Okay.
I feel at a disadvantage because I haven't really done a lot of homework on this thing.
Well, same here.
I'll stop that now.
You think Brian will just give him the money without even playing? Just give Brian the money? Should we just give Brian the money?
It's Brian's Venmo. Let's just give him some cash.
Brian's out there like, I have a great idea. Let's bet people golf. Let's make golf bets with people because I should win. That's brilliant. Seattle, Arizona tonight. That's where I'll be.
Sure.
Set up. Seattle has beaten Arizona 7 times in a row. You probably don't even think they've played 7 times.
Well, I know they're in a division together, so it's hard to overlook that. So twice a year, yeah.
7 in a row for the Seahawks. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. The Bills and Saints have not played that many times, but they will play this Sunday. Only the 6th meeting in Orchard Park between the Saints and Bills, and the Saints have won 4 of the previous 5. If they win Sunday, that will be a story. Back after the update, we'll look for your calls too. This is WGR. Arizona Seahawks a slight favorite on the road. The Bills the biggest favorite on the board this weekend, and maybe will end up being that for the entire NFL season 15.5 or higher, depending on where you do your shopping. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, joined now on the Westford Hotline by Bet Sweats co-host Joe Ostrowski, Odyssey Insider Calls, BetMGM Network, Joe and Sam Panayotovich co-host Bet Sweats, which is excellent. Weekday mornings, 9 to noon. You can hear it on the Bet 1520. Joe, I mean, to say the least, there's a lot going on right now with all the college football, too. It looks like a great weekend there, plus Ryder Cup. And, I mean, hockey starting. I'm not sure we can bet on the preseason.
Gage Thompson hat trick bet season is upon us almost.
Here we go, Joe.
I can take a shot of whiskey if you'd prefer me to be Sam today.
I'm sorry. I had it wrong in my head all day, and I don't really know why. I'm sorry.
Well, you get into a rhythm with the football season, and if you miss a day, I totally understand it.
All right.
No worries at all. Yeah, a ton that is that's been going on right now. I mean, yeah, you throw golf into the mix, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I watch that. But I'm just here so Bulldog can give me a long shot touchdown again on a Thursday. That's the entire reason I'm here.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not. I'm not as intimately familiar with these teams that are playing tonight as I am with the Bills. So I don't have like some third string tight end for you.
What's AJ Barner, Joe?
Ooh, AJ Barner. Okay, give me a second.
Like he's their number one, and nobody knows who he is. So Seattle. Actually, while you're looking at that, I kind of love Harrison tonight.
It's 5-1, by the way.
All right.
Really? Why? So he's not going to drop passes now?
Well, I loved Andrews on Monday night because I thought maybe the incentive would be, let's see if we can rediscover Mark Andrews.
Right.
I had a bet on him to catch a pass on their first drive. He caught the first pass of the game. 2 touchdowns. I wish I had that. I feel like that might be where they are with Harrison. I mean, the vibes are always weird with them, I think. Yep. And that drop, dropped one in the end zone, too, that was tougher. But the one was wide open, like the center fielder, and just let it go right through his hands was egregious. And I don't know. They have a lot invested in him. The team's pretty good. I could see him being like first ball of the night and, maybe a more focus on Harrison than usual.
Barner is 5-1 for an anytime touchdown tonight. And we do this kind of a bit on the show, but it's the room. We find out what are the most popular bets, and they're so bad, just at everything. And we were shocked, just shocked that the most popular player prop on tonight's game is Torrey Horton over 22.5 receiving yards. So we'll be going against that one for sure. I mean, that's just one. The public is really, they're going to find Horton. Okay, he's the guy because of what he did most recently. Now he's going to go over the number. So we'll be going against that one for sure. I like the Seahawks in the game. I think the Arizona Cardinals are quite fraudulent, but they did cover the number last week against San Francisco. Arizona's been outgained in all 3 games, including those first 2, New Orleans and Carolina. For what it's worth, Seahawks beat them 7 times in a row. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I'm a little surprised and almost there where I'm willing to admit that maybe I was wrong on Seattle because they're already outperforming my expectations.
I'm with you. I thought Darnold was going to be a disaster there. I didn't think they'd be able to block well enough for him and that he would just cave in and it would fall apart. And it certainly is not doing that.
Yeah, I'm at the point right now where I'm starting to think, okay, I get it because of the record. San Francisco's the favorite in the division. If it's not the Rams, it could be Seattle, and they're 7-1 right now. If they move to 3-1 tonight, I think they're going to be a very, very trendy pick. People will start to take a look at them. They should be fine. We'll find out a lot today. It's been pretty impressive. And the start of the season, they lose by 4 at San Francisco. That was kind of impressive too. Maybe people just wrote off McDonald after that 1 year, and it took a little bit of time, but that defense is pretty strong.
AJ Barner, some are calling him AJB, 5-1 to score tonight. Move over AJ Brown.
All right.
I've got one of those, not ladder bets, just exact order of finish. Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, L.A. I might have a Rams problem, but L.A. last.
Was the Stafford thing
Maybe. Actually, maybe. This is back in months ago. So
yeah, that would make sense.
They have an interesting game, I think, from a betting perspective this weekend, too. Rams hosting the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you guys talking about this game earlier. So now is the time, you think, where everybody's sort of woke to Indianapolis, and therefore they're a popular public bet?
Maybe a bit too much. Yeah, they are. Of all the popular plays, the only one that's an underdog is the Colts. That does not surprise me one bit. I don't know. It's probably more Colts, but I'm sure it didn't help. A lot of people thinking, oh boy, how are the Rams going to get off the mat after the way that they lost that game?
No changes today for the Bills injury report. Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, and Spencer Brown again not practicing, while AJ Epinesa was limited. We're going to get more on the Bills when Sal Capaccio does join the show in just about a half hour at 5 p.m. And the Barnes from Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes from Injured. For help, call 1-800-8-million. Week 4 gets underway tonight with Thursday Night Football. Cardinals host Seattle. Kickoff at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime. You can listen to that game over on our sister station, The Bet 1520. And tonight is also the first instance where we will see the rivalry jerseys. Arizona is going to be wearing theirs. And then for Seattle, running back Zach Charbonnet, who is considered questionable, is expected to play. Sabres preseason game number 3 is tonight at Detroit, 6 p.m. pregame, a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is a radio-only game, so you can listen to that right here on WGR. And in net tonight, Alexander Georgiev is expected to get the full game. And then some good news from earlier this morning. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was a full participant at practice. The AL East battle continues. Yankees-Blue Jays, they are tied for the division lead with 4 games to go. The Yankees are looking to sweep the Chicago White Sox at home just after 7, while at the same time, the Jays are looking to avoid getting swept as they will host Boston. And then tomorrow, Friday foursomes, we'll get the morning going at the Ryder Cup. It gets underway tomorrow at Bethpage Black. The first group at 7:10 is going to be DeChambeau and Thomas for the United States versus Rahm and Hatton for Team Europe. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Yeah, I think Coach always talks about it, mindset and the ball, and taking care of the football. That's my main job, and doing whatever I can do to not hurt ourselves, not put us in worse situations. I'm trying to take it one play at a time, and at the end of the day, each and every play, it doesn't need to be a home run, but as long as we're taking singles and finding completions and staying in front of the sticks and scoring points, can't argue with the results.
Josh Allen saying the things. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Sal Capaccio joins us in half an hour. The Sabres play tonight in Detroit. We'll have pregame at 6. So far, so good.
Yeah, sure enough.
Keep it going. Whatever it's worth in the preseason, better than losing, I guess. Bills offense, 4th in the league in points, 20th in points allowed. Or Bills, defense is 20th in points allowed. Can't blame the offense for that. Singles as opposed to home runs. This is the way now, isn't it? This is the league now. The Bills are right at the front of the line. And it makes sense, and I was talking to Matt Collar about this on his podcast today. I probably have said it in here. I think with that, you've got what? Teams built smaller defenses to be better against the pass, and then teams started running the ball on them, and teams even with great quarterbacks are just not throwing like they did 5 years ago. And the Bills are a perfect example of this. And they're, like Alan says, the results, they're winning this way too. I think there's also likely to be a 4th down, go for it kind of correlation here. Because if you make it 4 downs instead of 3, then you don't need as many yards early in the count, if you will. You can sort of strategize for that. It's 2nd and 8. As Alan put it, I'll take a single. Now I'm 3rd and 4. I'm doing this in 2 plays. Field position matters for this.
Sure.
But it's just all the more reason, not that this is great for the watch of it, I think, but all the more reason to just be conservative.
Yeah.
And you'll end up with longer drives, in theory, that, don't get undone by turnovers. The Bills are great at avoiding those. And here you go. Even without Allen for throwing for barely more than 200 yards a week, they're still scoring like crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it and a lot of different ways to say it and try to explain it. But I think in a certain way, the Bills, I think, have arrived at, we don't think you are going to mount 4 long scoring drives on us. We are pretty confident we will do that to you. And somewhere along the way, when you're trying to do that, you're going to make a mistake. We trust that we're not going to. And that's the Miami game in a nutshell. I mean, was it closer for a while in the second half than a lot of us would have liked? Was it uncomfortable at times? Yeah, but they were never behind. And I think we're just sort of, okay, we got it. We got it. We got this quarterback. If we need to make plays late, like if Miami doesn't rough the punter and they go down and get a touchdown and go up by 7 with 2 minutes to go or something, okay, Josh, go get down there and score. Now, you're going to have to decide on a 2-pointer or overtime or whatever. And again, that's a close shave, and you're leaving yourself vulnerable to, if you do make a mistake, or if they don't make a mistake, then maybe it gets tight. But, I mean, teams make mistakes, especially inferior opponents. And the Bills have lived on that. It is razor thin at times, but they're pretty comfortable with it, I think. They've become a team that's very comfortable playing that way. Even if we're not comfortable all the time watching it because, it's only ahead by 4, which is, one play puts you behind. I get it. But they are just very, I think, confident in playing it slow, I guess is one way to say it.
Yeah, it's just, in theory, again, it's the kind of thing that will keep lesser teams in the ring with you. Like, if Sunday's game is like that, and the Bills just sort of systematically, win by 10 or something like that. Nothing, no kill shots, no home runs, no, blowout game or anything like that. I wonder if everybody will be impressed, right? Like, it is tempting to want them to
just put a hammer on someone.
Just
right? Yeah.
Go deep.
Yeah.
It is tempting to want that. But go deep is low percentage. And sure, that's high reward. But now I'm in 2nd and 10, and I need a good play on 2nd down.
Right. We talked back in the summer. We talked about this. The point you just made at the outset of this conversation about 4th down impacting how you call the game, how your offense plays. And the Bills are the leading rushing team, yards per game, in the league. I don't know about all the advanced metrics and yards per carry and yards after contact and all that, but they're running the ball for more yards in games than any other team in the league right now. And they have the benefit of, again, feeling like they can play that way. And I think in part the 4th down stuff is baked into that. I'm not going to, like you just said it, I'm not going to worry that much about 3rd and 4 because what is that? That's 2 running plays if I want it. And sure, if I get stuffed on the first one, 4th and 4 might end up being a punt instead of going for it. But if I get a couple of yards there and I'm at like midfield or better, I'm probably going anyway, and I'm going to get it. So I give them a lot of credit. I know we were sort of, I think, worried about. You were more worried about it than me because I didn't think it was really going to happen. But you were right. Brady took over. They became this run-heavy team that divested themselves of Diggs, and they've become run-heavy. And it's a thing that's keeping them at the top of the heap here. Like, Kansas City could run the ball at all. Maybe the rest of their stuff would work that much better. But they just cannot get anywhere on the ground. Mahomes is their leading rusher. I mean, what are you doing? So the Bills, I think, maybe saw the curve changing and got in front of it, and they've got results to back up their plan.
Let's get to Tom here. Go ahead, Tom.
How you doing, guys? Good afternoon.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. Hey, I want to put up an analogy, Mike, to what you just said as far as the home run versus single. I'm going to compare it to baseball. You got a strikeout pitcher. Guy gets struck out, he's done. You got a guy who puts the ball in play, and anything can happen. And I compare that to the long ball versus the dink and dunk stuff. It's working, thank God. I mean, it's ingrained in all the players' heads. The ball is it. Do not lose the ball. But that's my comparison to it. Where there is more risk, I think, in my opinion, and having a 16-yard play drive versus a 3-play drive with a 45-yard bomb. Just my thoughts. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the thing about the always avoiding the big plays, like it wasn't that long ago. I think maybe before last season, we heard McDermott talking about explosive plays, 20-yard plus plays, and what the data tells them that means to a drive, how a drive ends. Like the way larger percentage of drives that have all play of that nature in it result in points, as opposed to ones that don't. So even if you are great at taking care of the ball, you are increasing the likelihood, like if you got to run 12, 14, 16 plays like Tom is saying, you're increasing the likelihood that someone's going to get called for holding, or someone's going to false start, or illegal man down, whatever, a penalty is going to set you back, or a negative play of some kind, a sack, a fumble, an actual turnover. Yes, teams do turn the ball over. The Bills don't seem to be capable of it, which is a good thing. But you are still the more times you're handling it, the more times there's a potential for something to go wrong. So I don't know. I don't want to just, as well as it's working, I think it would be comforting to see that they can do what they did at the end of the Baltimore game. Hit me with a 30-yard pass here and there. Like, just let everyone know you can do it. And it makes me feel good watching as a fan to know that you can do it, because I think it's helpful. I mean, to just get chunks of yardage instead of having to work so hard for it, because eventually you're going to make a mistake or two, and it's could hurt you.
Thanks again, Tom. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. We'll be right back. Sal at 5. This is WGR. Now it's time for The Line, presented by FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. As you know from listening to our show, each Thursday at this time, we look at the betting line. It's the game tonight and some of the better bets for the weekend games that we like. The diehards know this has become a very popular segment for many, but you couldn't know that because this is the first time we've ever done it. It's new. Welcome, The Line, to our show.
Welcome, The Line.
If you enjoy
Glad to have you, The Line.
If you enjoy this version of The Line, be here next week at this time.
Do me a favor and don't tell Pix that we have a sponsored betting segment at 4:45 on Thursdays. Because Pix has never been sponsored.
Poor Pix.
Poor Pix. Poor overlooked, undervalued, ignored Pix.
Yep.
The longest running unsponsored radio segment in history.
So unloved, even we don't care.
No, that's right.
That's just,
I really don't. I'm just being,
remembering the days of Bauk posting the pics on the website and once putting his PIN number on the article, knowing that no one would read it. All right. Well, I've already said, as far as tonight goes, Seattle -1.5 at Arizona. The Seahawks are kind of a hot team right now in like how people are talking about them. Like maybe they're actually good. And so a small line at Arizona wouldn't scare me. I just feel like I'm buying some hype here that doesn't sit great. Mm-hmm. I know that like I'm sort of not buying the Cardinals. Last week they scared me. They covered against San Francisco. I really liked San Francisco. It might have been a little too obvious, right? -2.5 at home or whatever it was. So Arizona got me there. The one play I do like tonight, and I mentioned it with Joe Ostrowski earlier, is overs on Marvin Harrison Jr. Because as just sort of sad as it looks like it's gone so far for him and with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, for such an elite prospect, and last week was maybe even a low point. A wide open drop at midfield, a drop touchdown, like just nothing is really he's not paying off his fantasy, ADP at all. I would think that I'm saying it, like a competent organization would make a point of getting Harrison going and turning that story around tonight. National TV. I like this with Mark Andrews on Monday.
Big Ohio State backer in the booth and Kirk Herbstreit if you need it. I like this line of thinking a lot.
So FanDuel has 3.5 catches at the line, which is nothing. I'd look for an alternate line there, 5 or 6 maybe, and 50.5 yards, which is again pretty modest. So it's not the safest bet, but I'm on Harrison.
Yeah, I would like him with all the same logic for a touchdown.
Plus 200.
Might get a little greedy adding all of what Mike said and putting that on there. I would myself would make that play. I think. All that said, though, I think Seattle would be my pick in this game. Like I don't know if we're picking right now for the official picks contest, but that's where I'm going to be leaning. I think is Seattle. As far as like getting ahead to the weekend, speaking of FanDuel, right? I mean that's they're sponsoring this. Best bet for the weekend. You know the ads I do. Bet $5. New customers now. So if you already got an account, you're out of luck. But if you haven't taken the plunge yet and you've been thinking about it. This is as close to foolproof as I think you can get. Bet the Bills on the money line. You're going to win. Put $5 in. That's the minimum. Bet $5 on the Bills on the money line. I checked. You'll win 3 cents. Okay? So, Bulldog, what a high roller. You're going to unlock $300 in bonus bets. So, if you've been waiting to sort of try, you're looking for a sure thing, like that's anytime you hear that ad, you should, if you haven't opened an account yet, but you've been thinking about it, that's the kind of bet to make with that $5. Like something that looks like a lock. I know nothing's a lock. It's pro football, but $5 on the Bills on the money line. It's like plus or minus 2,000 or whatever it is. You're only going to get 3 cents, but you can get $300 to play with for the next however long you want to play with it. There's a timeline on that. I think it's only 21 days, but still.
Are you sure there's not a cap on how big a favorite you're allowed to pick?
I don't. Well, there's restrictions
those.
apply. Yeah, I don't.
Some of those are you can't go higher than like minus 200.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen.
Okay.
I'm not a new customer, so I've never read the fine print in the ad. I guess I could go to the website and figure that out.
It's possible they wouldn't let you do that. I think
that is. Thank you for
just in case
saying yes. No, good. I appreciate that. It might not be that foolproof. But anyway, in that general sense, something you really like that is allowed.
Yep.
Go do that. There's other games where the spreads aren't as big, and you might really like a certain team that's favored by a touchdown, not by 2 or more, like the Bills are, and maybe you can find your way in there.
I like Tennessee +7 at Houston right now. I don't think Houston should be giving anyone 7. They can't score. Yes, they're at home. Tennessee's bad. I know.
Yeah.
But I would, I'm daring Houston to cover a 7-point spread right now. Hear me, Houston? Do you hear this? I dare you to cover a 7-point spread. There. Some of our favorite bets for the weekend, including tonight's game, Seattle at Arizona. Sal Capaccio will join us after the update. So no changes to the injury report. And, you've got 3 starters who might be in line to miss this game. 2 missed the last game. We'll talk to Sal about that possibility and the Bills matchup with New Orleans after the break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Bills injury report, Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, and Spencer Brown again not practicing. AJ Epinesa was limited. And we'll get more on the Bills. Sal Capaccio is going to join the show next, so do stay tuned for that. And a reminder that the Barnes Firm Injury Report is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Tonight, Week 4 gets underway with Thursday Night Football. Cardinals hosting Seattle. Kickoff at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime. You can also listen to that game over on our sister station, The Bet 1520. Tonight is also going to be the first instance we see the rivalry jerseys. Arizona is going to be wearing theirs. And then for injury purposes, Seattle running back Zach Charbonnet, who is questionable, is expected to play. 49ers general manager John Lynch said today on San Francisco radio that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is not close to returning as he recovers from a torn ACL he suffered last season. And Patriots cornerback Christian Gonzalez is reportedly expected to make his season debut this Sunday versus Carolina. Sabres preseason game number 3 is tonight. They are at Detroit. 6 p.m. pregame. That's in just about an hour for a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is a radio-only game, so you'll find the game right here on WGR. In net tonight for the entire game will be Alexander Georgiev and then some other goaltender news. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was able to practice in full earlier today. Stars forward Jamie Benn is going to have surgery to repair a collapsed lung. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. And Panthers forward Alexander Barkov picked up an apparent leg injury today at practice. He had to be helped off the ice. We expect to get more on that tomorrow. And then in baseball, the AL East battle continues. Yankees and Blue Jays, they are tied for the division lead with 4 games to go. The Yankees look to sweep the White Sox at home just after 7. And then at the same time, the Jays are looking to avoid getting swept as they host Boston. And then in the Ryder Cup, Friday foursome tomorrow morning to get that underway at Bethpage Black. The first group will get going at 7:10 a.m. It is going to be DeChambeau and Thomas for the United States versus Rahm and Hatton for Team Europe. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
These segments are always a treat, and they're even better when you get the text from Sal, I've got trivia for you. They're even better. So here we go. Sal's got trivia. I'm ready. Bulldog is ready too.
Hang on, let me just close up this terms and conditions thing from the FanDuel website, and I'll get back to
Sal, will this be considered cheating if he has the FanDuel terms open?
No, I'm out. I closed it up. I'm gone.
All right.
It's over.
Safe. We're safe.
I think actually it might be pretty easy for you guys. It was something that I came across today. I'm like, wow, I don't remember that. And then I guess I do. So the Bills, you guys talked history about Bills and Saints here and when they've played and the games and how they've gone and all that. And I did a video on it today. I've been doing every time the Bills play a home game, I do a Highmark Stadium, memories of teams. I've only been to one Bills Saints game. That was the 2017 game, actually, 47-10. I know you were at the one in 83. The one before the 2017 was 2009. Bills lose 27-7. Do you guys remember how the Bills scored their touchdown?
I don't. We were on the air. I mean, that's the one Bills Saints game I've not been to. I've been to all the others, but that game is not fresh in my mind at all. I can't.
Bulldog?
I don't know.
It is 2009. No, I don't know.
The Bills faked a field goal and Brian Moorman threw it to Ryan Denny.
Okay, I remember Ryan Denny catching a fake field goal. I'm assuming he only did it once.
I thought they might have done another one against the Seahawks. They did. It was the year before that. Actually, the year before that, 2008. I thought there might have been one against the Texans at some point. I can't find that necessarily, but in this game, the Bills, this is the 2009 game, the Bills are down 7-0, and then Ryan Moorman lines up, and he's the holder.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the ball, and then he just starts taking off. He's going to run. He's a really good athlete, as you guys remember. And the guy's closing in, so he just dumps it off to Ryan Denny. It was a really well-designed fake field goal, and Denny runs in for the touchdown. Bills tie at 7-7. They want to lose 27-7. That was the week after Dante Whitner's pick 6 against the Buccaneers that year.
Yes.
Seattle rings a bell, too, for a fake field goal. I don't know who it was.
That was the year before in the opener. In
Week
08.
1.
Yeah. All right.
Why didn't the Bills just ever figure out what they needed to do, which was to make Brian Moorman the quarterback? I mean, all those years of struggles. One thing, I think this is right. If you look at the history of the Bills versus the Saints, and it's not like there's tons of it, you have to go back a long time to find a Bills quarterback to have started 2 games in a row against the Saints. I think it would be Rob Johnson. Because there was a win in 98, end of the season, that maybe was a meaningless game. And Johnson played at least some of that game. I'm not sure he started it. But the Bills won that game in New Orleans. And then 2001 opener, that's his team. And they lose to New Orleans.
I don't know if that's right. Kelly played in the 89 game they lost, and then he played again in New Orleans a few years later.
No, right. That's longer ago, though. To go back.
I see what you're saying.
You have Allen, and then you have Tyrod Taylor, and
Right.
then you have Thad Lewis, maybe, and then you have Edwards.
They've only played 12 games against each other, right? It's one of the fewest, I would say, around the league probably that they've played.
Yeah.
The amount of games. I did the video today, and I was trying to do some research. In the 4 wins here, they've outscored the Bills 120-42. That's crazy. There are some big numbers, not just in 2017. Anyway, I wanted to ask you guys also, I don't remember this or know this. I can't think of the last time they ran a fake field goal, the Bills, then. Maybe I'm just blanking on one, and they absolutely ran one recently. Have they even run one under Sean McDermott?
Nothing comes to mind. A certain fake punt comes to mind that didn't work out.
Yes.
But I don't remember a fake field goal. I'm ready for one. I'm with you. I'd like to see it. Does this game might not be the one because then you're just showing off.
This is not a game
You're 15-point
you
favorite.
dust off your fake field goal.
No. You shouldn't need one this week.
You waste it.
Well, Bulldog, it gives the opponents something to prepare for later in the year. You know that.
Fair.
Takes away time from practice.
Right. How much more, since we were talking about field goals and fake field goals, how much more time and attention are all NFL teams this week giving their special teams coordinator on field goal blocking? Because of blocking 4 field goals, not to block field goals. Yep. I mean to defend against getting your field goals blocked. Because it seemed like every game from 3:45 to 4:15 last Sunday, it seemed like there were 12 blocked field goals. I know I'm exaggerating, but it was one after the other for a little bit there.
First of all, I want to say I loved it. I love it. I don't want it to happen against the Bills necessarily, but I just think it's awesome that this is happening because. Make special teams matter again, right? I mean, we know the kickoffs now and what's happening there. And if special teams coordinators can scheme up blocks, I think that's awesome. And it really forces a little bit more strategy going back and forth. To answer your question, we did ask Sean McDermott. He was asked this on Wednesday at the media session. And he said he was watching Sunday. He saw what was happening, and he shared texts with Chris Tabor about it. They were texting about it. We asked Greg Rousseau after practice about it. He's like, "Yeah, it's an important because Greg Rousseau's on the field goal block team. It's an important play. He's like, we work on it, and it can change a game, no doubt. So yeah, I love seeing that. And it's so funny, because of the way the ball bounces and goes back, how many times you see guys just pick it up and run with it, which is what we saw a couple times. You see that in the Philly game, you see that in the Jets game, right? That's kind of what happens sometimes on field goal block. So yeah, I do think they're paying more attention to it, to be honest with you, this week because of what happened Sunday.
While we're here on special teams and making special teams matter again, have you seen the rundown of what the maybe you were watching the game anyways, the Rams kickoffs against the Eagles? We've talked a few times, and I've said many times since the rules were tweaked again this offseason, you should be working with your kicker on perfecting some sort of low liner knuckleball, hard to handle. Yep. The Rams are doing it on every kickoff. And they have the best starting opponent drive start, I think, in the league as part of it, or at least after kickoffs. They are doing a great job. It's really, there's certainly some luck the way the ball bounces, but the Eagles had a hell of a time fielding kickoffs against the Rams last Sunday.
I did not see this. I saw an article that I think probably was this article referencing it, and I meant to kind of make sure I go back and read it because people were sharing it and going, "Oh, this is pretty cool." But yeah, you're right about it. I mean, the whole thing with kickoffs has kind of forced a lot of teams and coordinators and coaches to really kind of rethink how they envision things and want to have a new edge. And if this is the new edge, then great, good on them, because I think that's pretty cool because you're really forcing the other team that you're playing to have to kind of figure it out and say, what are we going to do here? And yeah, that's pretty cool.
The Eagles, I didn't know this, but I've seen a lot of it, not just from the Rams. The Eagles had 5 consecutive drive starts on Sunday from their 20, 19, 9, 14, and 35, and then the 10. And before you might wonder, well, did the Rams just pin them deep on a punt? Those were all after scoring drives.
Right.
They were all off kickoffs. There might have been a penalty or two to push them back, but like 20, 19, 9, and 14.
Right. They're doing great.
That worked out.
Yep.
That's not even like I might have seen Baltimore take a touchback on a ball that landed short. So they started at their 20 Monday night. I think it was Baltimore in that game against the Lions. All right. Sal, no change to the injury report today. I'm a day late on Spencer Brown not being here yesterday. He was hurt some point during the game. And, for whatever that matters, it is he's not a guy we talk about all the time, but you might I know Sal will. You might remember a time where Spencer Brown was kind of just a punching bag, with fans. And we of course, everybody knows the story of Allen sort of reforming his technique and becoming, an all-time great. And, boy, Spencer Brown did some of this, I want to say.
Yeah, Spencer Brown, I think what Brandon Beane explained to us, I think, right after he got his contract extension, Spencer Brown, we were talking about him, is he said when Spencer came in the league, he had a bit of a back issue they were dealing with, and it really cost him some time. It cost him some development, and that's what people don't really think about a lot, right? You want these immediate results. We talk about the guys from this year's draft class, right? And they're not playing and how all of that is working out. And sometimes you don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes and why guys might not be able to make an immediate impact. But once he really became healthy and really worked hard and, became a part of the program, so to speak, Spencer Brown really became a very, very important big piece for the Buffalo Bills. And I think he's been very good at right tackle. He is a very good athlete for his size. There's no doubt about that. He allows the Bills to do a lot of different things, both from the right side and the left side. They have really good athletes on both sides at bookends. And now they have them both locked up, by the way. I mean, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are both locked up long-term with contract extensions, and that is a great, great thing to have. By the way, Spencer Brown, one of only 3 Bills so far this year to play 100% of the snaps on offense or defense. Do you guys know the other 2?
Yeah, they took some of their line out in the Jet game, so I wouldn't say any other. I might say
one
Dawkins.
other lineman. Nope, Osiris Torrance.
Okay.
And there one guy on defense has played every single snap so far.
Rapp?
Every one of them. Other safety, Cole Bishop.
Bishop, okay. Yeah, there was the one game, was it maybe the Jet game where Bishop played the whole thing? That was, they're way ahead. That was notable.
Right.
Good.
Well, if Brown can't go, not that, I know he talked yesterday. He was on One Bills Live. You and I think, talked about it yesterday, Sal, how he said he thinks, guys always say, I'll be fine. No work again today. We'll see. Maybe he can do something tomorrow. But if he can't go, that's Vandemark, right? And that went pretty well last year, didn't it? He had to step in one game, and I think it went well.
He did. The Chiefs game, actually. He played in the Chiefs game. He was He started for, was it Deion even?
No,
did they miss Deion, or was it for Brown?
I think it was Brown. Yeah, that's what I remember anyway. If I could
I think
be
you're
wrong,
right about that, but I think it was the Chiefs game if I remember right. Either way, you're right. And I think even going back to New England maybe the year before, Ryan Vandenberg's had to play in a pinch a few times, and I think he's done very well when he's been called upon. What's funny is about that, he wasn't even supposed to be the swing tackle last year. He was inactive. And that's because Travis Clayton had taken his Tylon Grable had taken his job as the swing tackle. He became inactive, but then Tylon Grable got hurt, so Vandenberg became the guy again, and he was put into that position. Well, Tylon Grable's hurt again this year, so if Spencer Brown can't go, I think it's definitely would be Ryan Vandenberg based on who they have available and what the lineup would look like.
Right, it's Chase Lunt is the other backup tackle that I see here. And
he plays a little tackle, a little guard, and I think honestly, Bulldog, Chase Lunt is one of these guys where I just think that he's on the roster because they don't want to lose him because they like him, but I don't know if there's any chance he'll ever actually play this year outside of maybe, if things go where they have things, in hand late in the year. I don't know if they want to put him on the field. I just think they don't want to lose him to waivers is why he's on the team right now.
Mm-hmm. They can't get that guy Bills back here who was named Bills, 15-point favorites.
Keaton Bills?
Too late, no chance. Is he somewhere else? I don't even know.
They did sign Nick Broker actually back to the practice squad. He
Right.
actually would be a guy that you could turn to, but that's a guy they had drafted and he was gone. But yeah, Vandermark's really the only guy. You're right. Chase Lunt would be another guy. Now Alec Anderson can actually play all 5 positions. It's not his normal spot to play outside, but he kind of plays a little tackle when he's the 6th offensive lineman anyway. But it's not his normal spot, so it would be Vandermark.
Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline. Last week with the Dolphins, last week at this time, we were out there, and the conversation was a lot about, well, Bills are a big favorite. What was it, 12 last week? How could they lose, and things, sort of the traditional recipe for an upset. But that was a Miami team that had given the Bills close games. Not the Bills have won all these games against Miami, but a lot of them were close, as it turns out was the game last Thursday night. There isn't that with New Orleans. Miami, you might kind of think, and this is easier now to say after that game, but maybe the wheels come off. But that's a team that's had good seasons and a playoff appearance or two. It's a good rivalry, all that stuff. The Saints are none of these things. The Saints would have been, I think, the most popular pick in the league before the season to finish with the worst record. One of 2 or 3 teams at least for that. And nothing so far this year has gotten anybody off that spot. The game in Seattle is 37-3 midway through the second quarter. Come on. So we can say the same thing, Sal, about how they might do it, but turnovers, right? So it's the same things. But it's much harder for me to see New Orleans hanging on Sunday than it was to see Miami doing it.
Yeah, I would agree. And even if the Bills were to, the Bills have now gone 8 straight games without a turnover. They've won the turnover bat or have not lost it for 24. Even if those things turned, I think it's still going to be tougher for New Orleans. They would have to still, win the game. In a game like against Miami, if you give them a couple mistakes, they could have wound up beating you. I think New Orleans, that's the path. They would have to have those things happen. I think they'd have to do some other things on top of that, and it would be tough for them. Now, that said, one thing the Bills do very well is run the football. New Orleans has actually been pretty good at stopping the run this year. They're only allowing 3.6 yards per run so far this year. So, there's probably something that, if the Bills going to have to, maybe they want to throw the ball, and that's great. Josh Allen can throw the ball, but at the same time, maybe they try to put him under a little bit of pressure. They're in top 10 in sacks per pass attempt on defense. They have some talent on that side of the ball, and they can try to they'll be aggressive. I always think that, when a team loses like the Saints did last week, they'll go into the next week with something different, changing up. They'll have tendency breakers because they'll think, we got to kind of do something different. This isn't working. What are we going to do? And that's when you can surprise a team. And we all remember what happened with the Bills when they went to Minnesota in Josh's rookie year, week number 3, and they're 17-point underdogs. They wind up winning. A few plays go their way, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We're winning this football game, and the other team starts to panic a little bit, maybe because they're supposed to be this big favorite. They make a few mistakes. That's probably the path to victory for the Saints here. I also think Spencer Rattler is not that bad, actually. When I watch him play, he's got some arm talent. He's a good athlete. I just don't know if everything can happen for him all in one in a game like this. The offensive line isn't that great, and they have some skill position guys, but it just feels like they're really just undermanned overall.
Rattler has a birthday on Sunday, by the way. He'll be 25. And he's 0-9, but you like him. And you're not the first person to say that. I was thinking about this earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Brett Coleman, who does a lot of film study, has been on our show before, said after their opener against Arizona, which they lost, he thought that Rattler was, not bad. Yeah. So what was one thing about last week, the Seattle game, which I really only saw from the box score in addition to a couple of highlights, but Chris Olave had like 10 for 57 or some kind of stat line like that.
It was, yeah.
And I don't know how that's possible for a player like that. I mean, he's somebody, he's a burner. Like Olave is somebody that can sort of stretch the field, but for whatever reason, that did not happen in a game they were down big in. I would think that they'd like to, bump up that yards number, even if it meant cutting receptions in half to get more, important plays out of Olave. He's good enough.
Yeah, they are. I think their overall yards per attempt is really down. It's under 6 yards per attempt for the Saints. So feels like they want to be a little more methodical, not drive the ball down the field, and that's probably how they want to beat the Bills, right? I mean, maybe they let it all hang out and they throw the ball down the field, but the path usually is, hey, keep the ball at Josh Allen's hands. How do you do that? You have you have a shorter passing game, you have a good running game, And you do that because right now they're just not pushing the ball down the field that much. He's at less than 6 yards attempt, like I said, and that's not a high number at all. That's a very low number in the NFL.
Yeah. 4.7 as a team. Net yards per attempt.
Yeah.
The Bills are at 7.3, which is fourth. And even the Bills, there's some run after the catch element here, but even they, like in the Dolphin game, it was historic for how short both teams' pass attempts were.
Yeah, I'd be bracing for just like a lot of Alvin Kamara in the flat type stuff, like that, right? So the Bills will have that buttoned up because Miami stung them a few times with some of that on Thursday night. So and Kamara is he's excellent. So they're gonna have to be buttoned up in that area. I'm really curious to see if someone other than Joey Bosa can get some sort of pass rush consistently here. I feel like Rousseau, I know some of the metrics are, he's winning reps, but I don't feel like I'm seeing him. Bosa, I'm noticing pretty regularly being disruptive and getting in the backfield. I feel like Rousseau, I'm still sort of waiting for that to arrive this season. And I don't know, maybe Sunday is a spot for that to happen for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too. Hasn't happened and flashed as much as you'd like this year, but you're right. After the game, going back and looking at some things and then seeing some numbers, Rousseau had a better game than I think a lot of people realized overall, but you need to get to the passer a little bit more than what the Bills have, I think, overall to finish the play. That's the big thing, finishing. They actually got around to they had a good plan, though, Miami did. They got him out of the pocket a little bit, and then he scrambled here and there. I do think Ed Oliver matters here. And, again, just to go back to injuries, by the way, guys. So no Ed Oliver, no Matt Milano again today. And the good news was A.J. Epinesa did practice today. After, remember, yesterday it was limited with the Pack, and we were wondering what happened.
Yeah.
He was back on the field practicing. No Oliver, no Milano. I do think Oliver matters here. I mean, Oliver's a penetrator up the middle, and if you don't have somebody who has to kind of account for that, then you can concentrate a little bit more on the edges. I'm thinking mostly about even like running backs and pass protection. You go inside out first. You look the middle, A gap, B gap, and if Ed Oliver's come up the A gap, you got to take him. If there's nobody there, you can help out on Rousseau. You can help out on the other side. So I do think getting Ed Oliver back at some point would help. But as of right now, it doesn't look like it's trending that way for this week.
15.5, 48.5. So 32 to 16.5. The Bills at, again, a 30-plus point per game pace this year. And implied total would have them upping that even a little bit more. All right, Sal, thanks for this. We'll talk tomorrow.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
All right, it's our dude Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Refused to bring up the Yankees, as you may have noticed. Why isn't he bringing up? Because the Yankees rudely have spoiled the Blue Jays party, at least for now. 5 up with 12 left. Now it's tied.
Yeah. Well, you have the Red Sox to thank in part for that because they won the first 2 of 3 in Toronto. They wrapped that up tonight, too.
I think I have mostly the Blue Jays to thank.
I guess.
They stopped hitting.
Yeah.
That'll hurt. That'll hurt.
Yeah, 4-1, 7-1, the scores the last 2 nights.
I mean, Kansas City, they lost 20-1 on maybe Friday. Terrible. The one game they did win there, they might have won like 7-4 or something like that. But Detroit-Cleveland is great. NL wildcard is great. Reds won today to get a little closer. Mets are up in that race, even though they keep losing.
Cleveland is just the first game of that Detroit series. That finishes up tonight, too. And Cleveland is now in front after, 12 and a half games on August 25th, and now they're ahead. They got to Skubal on Tuesday night without even the ball leaving the infield. Like, they were behind and took the lead with, just playing station to station. Amazing. And last night, some guy that only had 1 home run going into the game hit the go-ahead home run for them last night. It's just magic pixie dust everywhere for Cleveland right now. Like, they just can't do anything wrong. The stadium's pretty packed, and it's a really great scene going on right now in Cleveland.
Playoffs are next week. Should be fun. 803-0550 for your calls. Bills and Saints Sunday. A lot of the Saint conversation has been about past games. I guess this one doesn't quite have everyone's attention yet. I think we're a little bit I'll admit to being a little bit lazy on this game so far. It's, getting near the weekend, though. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after sports. We've got the Sabres again tonight. Preseason action in Detroit. Pre-game at 6 here on WGR.
living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day alright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
No changes today for the Bills injury report. Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, and Spencer Brown again not practicing, while AJ Epinesa was limited. And the Barnes from Injury report, it is brought to you by the Barnes from Injured. For help, call 1-800-8 million. Tonight, though, we'll get Week 4 underway with Thursday Night Football. Cardinals hosting Seattle. Kickoff at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime, and you can listen to the game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Tonight is also going to be the first instance we will see this year's rivalry jerseys. Arizona is going to be wearing theirs, and then for injury purposes, Seattle running back Zach Charbonnet, who is considered questionable, is expected to play. Sabres preseason game number 3 is this evening at Detroit. Pregame coming up in just about a half hour for a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is a radio-only game, so you can listen to that right here on WGR. In net tonight for the entire game is expected to be Alexander Grigorev, and then good news for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He did practice in full earlier today. The AL East battle does continue. Yankees and Blue Jays are tied for the division lead with 4 games to go. Yankees do look to sweep the White Sox at home just after 7, while at the exact same time the Jays are looking to avoid getting swept. They are hosting Boston. And then Friday foursomes tomorrow morning to get the Ryder Cup underway at Bethpage Black. The first group is at 7:10 a.m. It is going to be DeChambeau and Thomas for the United States versus Rahm and Hatton for Team Europe. That is your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
On third downs, just making sure that we're more so on the same page and not getting put on our heels more often. And I feel like that's something that I'm not saying we easily can fix it, but we can fix it. So just showing that kind of, I'd say, edge and that being ready is going to be a huge help for us.
Taron Johnson, fine slot corner for the Bills. Had a great career here. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, thanks for listening. The Sabres play in Detroit tonight, pregame at 6. We have the volume turned down because, of course, but I just saw Rory McIlroy doing a media session, and it said on the screen, McIlroy talks about Seve Ballesteros. And he was my favorite golfer. Until I got into Ryder Cup, which I didn't know what that was until... maybe even like when it was in Rochester or early 90s.
Then you didn't like the fancy Spaniard kicking the U.S. around, did you?
Well, he was a game player. He liked to psych guys out. I wonder if he ever did the Robitaille thing.
What's the Robitaille thing now?
Mike Robitaille and I were playing at River Oaks once. And this story doesn't go very far, okay? Just not to... Okay. This isn't just me forcing in, as far as you know, Mike Robitaille's name. But... we were at 17, and I teed off and we were playing a match by a couple other guys, and he and I were opponents, and I hit a good drive on 17. 17's a hole you can get to in 2, par 5. So it's a big hole to have a big drive on, and it's like the end of the match, pretty much. 2 holes left. High drama on the island. And Roby says, you're going to have to re-tee that. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, he puts his club down on the, between the white markers, because we were playing the whites, because I remember them being white. And he's like, you were ahead of the line. Like, no way. It's like, no, you were. I'm looking right at it. You teed up like, whatever, an inch in front of the, the white markers.
Yeah.
And he would not quit. Like, Mike, you can't be serious. You're going to make, what? You can't be serious. An inch? I mean, I don't think so anyway, but really?
Yeah.
He's like, I saw what I saw. What are you telling me? I'm a liar? Like this, and Mike is,
yeah.
He's a beauty. Like, I don't know if he really means it.
You can't be sure, right? Yes.
And I sort of start to put another ball down, and like, is this a penalty? What even is this? We're really doing this? I mean, I thought this was friendly, and he just wouldn't speak, And then eventually I think I did put a ball down and like sort of stood my routine, stood behind the ball and like thinking to myself, oh my God. And then then he swore at me. He's like, come on. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see how far you'd go. Try that one if you want to in your friendly matches.
Right.
If it's close at all, maybe you can get away with it. Be careful if you go all the way with it, though.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I'm not sure I would have forgiven him.
Right.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's go to JD here. Hello.
Good stuff, guys. Hi. I just wanted to ask you about Bill's defense. I was watching replays of the game this week, as I always do, watching all 22. And I'm looking at the Bills when they're in a straight-up 4-3, like when they put Shaq Thompson out there with Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams. And I know this is all situational, and I don't mind nickel as a base D, but I think the Bills look really good when they have a little more muscle with an extra linebacker, have a straight-up 4-3. I think they should do a 3-linebacker set a lot more often, and I'll hang up and take your comments.
Yeah, well, good catch. You're noticing something that I think has been going on, and it is matchup specific. They used 3 linebackers a good amount, I believe, in the playoff win over Baltimore, and then again on opening night against them. It didn't help them stop the run game in the opener this year. They did a decent job against the run. It was really passing that did Baltimore did a lot of damage in the playoff win for the Bills, but they are using more of that, and it's notable that they did it against Miami without Milano, right? Like Milano would be having him be a part of that along with Dorian Williams as the third linebacker maybe would make sense, but they're doing it with Milano out with an injury, and it's not a heaping ton, but I think it's more than they've done in the past, and I think anything that they can do to give themselves more looks, more variety. That includes being more blitz heavy, which they have been. I never saw the numbers from the Miami game, but I know the first 2 weeks they were like top 6. I said it a few times on last week's pregame show before the Miami game that their numbers, the percentage of blitzing was way up for them in the first couple of weeks of the season. We'll see if these trends hold, but I think if they've got the right personnel matchup, I think it makes sense for them to be as multiple as they can be. It's the same sort of thing, same sort of concept on offense, right? Just give teams more to prepare for, have more different answers to questions and different tactics teams are going to try to pull on you, and just sort of get comfortable with it. And I feel like the Bills have been comfortable enough here early this year, and against the Jets, and maybe the Saints will be another game where, I don't know, I don't want this to sound as lazy as it might sound, but you can kind of tinker, let's see what combinations work best against certain formations, that kind of stuff, because operationally what matters the most is how it's all humming by the time January comes. So I think you use these games where you're comfortably ahead, hopefully, like the Jet game, to use different things and see how it works. I was happy to see Thompson on the field on Thursday. I think it's good to have that in the bag. We all love Taron Johnson, and he's meant a lot to this team as the Bills have been growing from the time they were growing into a contender to now having been a contender for these many years in a row now. He's been an integral part of all of that. But I think having more guys and more different sets to do different things is nothing but a good thing.
Yep. I don't have anything to add. Did you talk yesterday about when they would lose their first game? Did you play up the 17-0?
That did not come up. No, I did not. No, didn't get there.
I will predict that they will not go undefeated.
Bold.
I know, but not really, right? Good one. Good, Mike. That helps us. But I was talking to Sam Panayotovich, who was not on our show today, even though it was mentioned that he would be. That'll be tomorrow. On his podcast, Chicken Dinner, by the way, it's called. And, when's their first loss? And he and I had the conversation you and I have had so often about, oh, my God, New Orleans, New England, Atlanta. I mean, that might be tougher at Atlanta. These are, at least it's a road game. Carolina, we'll see what the Chiefs are. Can never take them for granted. On and on. Miami, Tampa. This could go a long time. I'm not sure what the longest the Bills ever have been undefeated is. Might even be 5-0.
I mean, I remember a 5-0 in the 90s when they
91.
went to Kansas City and got drilled.
And you had a 15-team parlay that lost and had the first 14 right. That's what I now think of when I think of that game, which is
right.
better than the game.
It could have changed the entire course of my life.
Yeah.
Seriously, not to be dramatic, but I would have won like 10 grand. And at that age, I could have been dead in a week.
Oh, you'd still have it. I'm sure you'd still have it.
Just could have been horrible.
At Houston, at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, at New England, at Cleveland. That's not a gauntlet.
No.
But
no.
It's there's a loss in there, I'm saying. And then the Eagles.
Yeah.
By the way.
I have not really spent. I mean, we've talked about it a few different times, and mostly it's in the form of what do you do at the end if you are 16-0, right, or 15-0, and you've got the 1 seed locked up. Like how hard do you want to go after being 17-0? And that's a thought experiment and a hypothetical that can be fun to sort of wrestle with. Like, really, I do not look at the schedule and just think, sure, they're going to – I think they're better than all the teams that they're playing. Philadelphia is probably the closest right now with the form teams are in currently. I would say that I would maybe be the most even matchup. But that said, I mean – And this team is older and maybe hopefully smarter and knows more about the pitfalls of avoiding an Urban Meyer nightmare, because that team was great when they went down there and lost 9-6 or whatever the hell that was.
It was 9-6.
I'd hope that they know how to avoid that, but I just don't expect to go through a 17-game NFL season regardless of how weak the schedule looks and think they're just going to win them all. That the ball's always going to bounce their way and that Allen's not going to ever throw it to the other team.
Ever again.
It is going to be jarring when it happens, I think, because it feels like it's such a faraway thing right now. But
if he never throws another interception, will they waive the 5-year waiting period for Canton?
Right.
Well, they were 14.5-point favorites in Jacksonville.
Right.
And they're 15.5-point favorites this week. Same total, 48.5. Never know. I know there are people that resent the whole thing of looking ahead. I don't know. Maybe I should apologize because I'm just obsessed with it. I just can't really take this game that seriously to be, just sort of shun any kind of look ahead. I mean, we're always looking ahead. It's always about the standings and buys and matchups. So I don't think I really should apologize for that, but I recognize they're, this is not something you'd want the players on the team. This is not a conversation you want the players to be having.
I feel.
When do we have our first loss?
I feel really comfortable that they're probably not.
They should know better.
Yeah.
They should know better than to be having that conversation, at least, where anybody could hear them. Don't even think about it. We'll do that. We'll do that for you.
We got that covered.
We've got that covered. The Sabres are in Detroit for a preseason game tonight. We'll have pregame coming up in about 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day alright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
I found a Sevi Ballesteros story.
Okay.
And I guess he was kind of like known for this particular move. I'm excited to read more about like his gamesmanship tactics. But in a story I found about Sevi, who is deceased, he was he was a Ryder Cup legend, all-time great. And his name comes up because it comes up when it's Ryder Cup week. This was not at a Ryder Cup, but it might have happened at one. So his playing partner at the Masters one year was in the lead, and Sevi would try to psych him out. And so this guy, who might have been trying to do the same thing back to Sevi, would stand. It does involve tee markers. Mm-hmm. On one hole, which is a dogleg left at Augusta, he stood at the right, like right next to the right tee marker, because most players would draw the ball there, and you'd want to do that from the left tee marker to give yourself like a wider berth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So whether he was doing anything intentional here. His opponent stood like right next to the tee marker on the right. And Ballesteros put his ball down right next to the right marker. Like, I'll be using the space.
I'm going to play from here, so you better move.
Right. And his opponent was just looking out the fairway, like just didn't acknowledge it. And Sevy like stared at him. It went from sort of a, dude, are you going to move look to like a serious, intense, you'd better move. And I haven't gotten to the end of the story. I don't know how it ends. But like the guy did not, I think it was Ken Green. I think it was. He didn't immediately move. He just sort of kept his spot. I mean, I'm allowed to stand here. And the Ballesteros was like, well, you probably shouldn't be. And I'm the man, right? So
yeah, it's my tee
I'm
box.
Sevy. This is my house. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to read the rest.
You're leaving us all hanging now.
I guess so, yeah. I wonder if he moved.
Just read it live on the air.
I know he didn't win.
Yeah.
Green.
Too bad for him.
Story gets better. This is Golf Digest. You could look this up and see what happens. Let me just tell you. Let me find it. Sevy had no choice but to hit. He killed the shot, too. Beautiful draw around the corner.
With the guy
guy didn't move.
The guy standing right there.
Yeah. So he might have been like 6 inches from his opponent when he hit that ball. All right, now you know. It wasn't a great, ending. A fight didn't break out or anything like that. Maybe it did later.
I think it's pretty ballsy to just hit the ball with the guy standing there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe on both counts, that the guy, Green, just stood there that close to the tee marker and the ball is, a few inches away, and that Ballesteros didn't care and just hit, I'm gonna do this. This is where I put the ball in. I'm hitting right here, and I'm gonna ignore the fact that you're standing, less than a foot away from me.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be worried about getting hit with the swing.
I'd be worried about a lot of things. Yeah, I don't suggest if we ever meet up and get paired up somewhere that you do this with me. Not because I'll be violent. It's just that you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a really nervy move.
Not a place you want to be. No.
Not a friendly gesture. No. Are we both on Seattle tonight?
That's where I am. Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Are you starting Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, I'm keeping him in.
Doesn't feel good.
No. All my juniors. I got three.
Too many juniors.
Harold Fannin Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr. Too many juniors. They got to play like seniors. These people. They need to graduate.
Grow up. Let's grow up out there.
Let's get going, Junior.
Yeah, this Marvin Harrison needs to get going. That's definitely true. At least Brian Thomas had last year. That's not going well either, as you know.
Yes.
But I'm betting Harrison overs. I found 80 yards even for like plus 300.
All right.
Just have a big Marvin Harrison play in this game and then piece together the rest. I'm not starting him if I can help it on my top teams. And there are a couple close decisions. He and Olave against the Bills. I think I will start him over Metcalf in one, but close. Bulldog here for all your Marvin Harrison start-sit questions.
Sure. Yeah.
Sabres and Red Wings tonight. Pregame next here on WGR.